artist's body to express an idea, which makes mime unique in its way. Mime, therefore, is a form of silent art that involves acting or communicating using only movements, gestures, and facial expressions. A person performing mime is also called a mime. Mime is abstract and highly stylized. It is abstract in the sense that mime does not imitate physical actions as it occurs in life. Rather, it gives an illusion of that action. In fact, it is through that lack of exactness and the exaggeration of actions, facial expressions, that its greater meaning is conveyed. Mime replaces exactness with conventions and abstractions that communicate symbolic or literal meanings. Everything in mime must be exaggerated. This exaggeration lifts mime above simple imitation of an action. Mime is more complex, based on theme, illusion, and plot, requiring a higher level of communication between the former and the audience. Types of mimes. Modern mime can be divided into two main types: abstract and literary mimes. Abstract mime. This type of mime usually does not feature a main character and has no plot. Instead, it focuses on provoking thoughts about a particular subject by expressing certain feelings or emotions. Literary mime. This type of mime tells a story with a plot and characters. Oftentimes, these stories are funny situations intended to elicit laughter from the audience. Importance of mime. Mime is not just for an actor, it is a must for everybody. It helps strengthen and control focus, both physically and emotionally. The art of mime engages one's ability of expression physically. Mime also has proven to be effective in stress management. Mime enhances the skills of expression and stimulates the imagination. Also, mime helps to alleviate stage fear, improve communication, and explore one's body potentials.
So far on this edition, you will agree with me that dance in Africa is used to express different types of emotions. Up next is our wise saying. And on that note, we urge you not to let down your guards as coronavirus is still out there. Till next week, please stay safe. Bye.
Safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
My brother, my sister, papa, mama, and pikin. Corona, no big pass us. We go fight time, we go win. As long as we remember to always do the right thing. Wash your hands, love each other, we go win. Oh. Corona, na the virus, we dey worry human being. E no get leg go, but e dey waka from person to person. But we fit beat time, we fit stop time if we maintain good hygiene and practice social distancing. We go, we know. No shaking hands with your neighbor. Blow them a kiss from afar. Use soap and water to wage war. Let's show this thing who we are. We are special, we're courageous, we are awesome human beings. We dey super, we get power, we can conquer anything. If we hear word and obey laws and exercise discipline. Wash your hands, love each other, we go, we know. If it be like say you know well, like it's something they do you, and you feel say, you believe say, you get to see they do you, and your body no grisogy, like it's something they do you. No let panic finish you, you go we know. Self-isolate for the sake of all the people that you love. Don't go around spreading rumors, 'cause fake news won't help anyone. You are special, you're courageous, you're a caged human being. You too much, oh, you get power, you can conquer anything. Only if you hear word and obey laws and exercise discipline. Wash your hands, love one another, we go, we know. My brother, my sister, papa, mama, and pikin. COVID-19, no big pass, we go fight and we go win. Just as long as we remember to always do the right thing. Wash your hands, love each other, we go, we know.
I never get this kind of thing, or I hear it. Abuja Intraprojects Agency then called me because we are partner with them.
After directing security chiefs not to spare elements sabotaging national security, President Buhari arrives London for routine medical checkup.
Federal government reiterates commitment to collaborate with states in growing micro, small and medium enterprises.
All is now set for an alternate school program in Nigeria.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, we shall discuss the Ogoni cleanup.
In June 2016, Nigerians received the news that oil pollution sites in Ogoniland River States will be cleaned up. And the announcement was followed by the commissioning of the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP, to carry out the exercise.
Well, the news was received with joy, especially by all who had lost livelihoods as well as the biodiversity of the area. Years of oil spills and gas leaks were gradually expected to end with this cleanup.
Now, the National Assembly, however, has frowned at the delay in the remediation exercise in the polluted areas in Ogoniland 9 years after the United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, submitted its report on the location. Now, recently, HYPREP's new governing structure was inaugurated by the federal government to address gaps in its operations.
And so far, HYPREP says it has been working on the project, though progress has been quite slow. Several issues have been raised on the state of laboratories used by HYPREP, as well as the expertise of companies contracted for the cleanup by the agency.
Now, HYPREP has also explained that it is working with local and international laboratories, as well as the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSTRA, in the cleanup exercise.
HYPREP also says that the project has advanced significantly, and most of its contractors are busy on various sites across Ogoniland.
Now, although reports indicate that HYPREP and some communities in the area are yet to be on the same page on several issues, concerned persons indicate that HYPREP's operations should be measured by performance indicators, including aspects of the environment, livelihood, health, potable water, gender, human rights, security, and others. Now, these, according to them, should be juxtaposed with the required and available resources for undertaking the cleanup tasks.
5 years now, what is the state of the environmental remediation of Ogoniland? How clear have milestones on the project been? What have been the work plans of the project, its performance indicators, as well as the accountability index?
Well, we'll have guests who will join us to speak to those issues that my colleague Kirian has just raised as we take a look at the cleanup in Ogoniland. We'd like to welcome you to this edition of Good Morning Nigeria. My name is Kingsley Osadolo, and we're broadcasting from our Abuja headquarters studios.
And I am Kirian Umai, also glad to welcome you to this edition of Good Morning Nigeria. And as usual, we have complementary segments which will include newspaper review, business, and others. And for now, let's join Musbao Danwahab, who has the news highlights for this morning. Musbao, it's good to see you. Well, by the way, Musbao, you had a jab yesterday, and how did it feel?
Well, Kirian, here am I today. After the jab, it was good, but just a little bit of reaction on the body. I think the vaccine is scanning through the system to ensure that it works better.
All right.
Good morning. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. All right, welcome to the news. President Muhammadu Buhari is now in London, the British capital. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that while in the UK, the president is expected to undergo a routine medical checkup. Throwing more light on the president's medical trade, presidential spokespersons Femi Adesina and Garba Shehu reassure Nigerians that there is nothing to worry about.
There is nobody who can say he is 100% healthy. If there's anybody like that, he should stand up to be counted. Somebody who says, I don't need checkup, I don't need anybody to look at my health, I am perfect from head to toe. That person should then stand up to be counted. So if our president at 78 is going for medical checks, I think there's nothing out of the ordinary in that.
The president is looking at the window of opportunity that has opened with the Easter holiday. it's a much relaxed period for everyone. Good Friday, Easter Monday, national holiday. So then, using that period to do his regular medical checkup. This is something he has done for so many years, even before he came to office.
President Muhammadu Buhari is due back in the country in the second week of next month. Meanwhile, before leaving the country, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the nation's armed forces and naval security services to spare no efforts at bringing to an end the nefarious activities of bandits and kidnappers undermining national security and stability. He said those collaborating with the criminal element to sabotage government's efforts at securing the country must also be fished out and dealt with decisively. This was at an emergency meeting he convened with the service chiefs and heads of other security and intelligence communities on the state of insecurity in the country.
Mr. President has made it very, very clear to both the intelligence and operational elements that their first assignment will be to identify the leaders of these bandits and kidnappers and take them out in order to restore confidence in those areas.
The federal government will continue to cooperate with states to support micro, small and medium enterprises. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo at the 27th Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic hosted by the Gombe State government describes the MSMEs as the engine of the nation's economy that must be well maintained.
Ensure that at about 9,085 employees from close to 2,000 MSMEs in the educational sector have benefited from the scheme. Another 10,000 artisans and transporters in this state have also benefited from the scheme. Up to 6,000 new business names have been registered free of charge with the CAC from businesses that are in this state.
The National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria has expressed commitment to the sanctity of the nation's unity, peace and security. Chairman of the Council and Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, who presided over the 12th General Assembly of the Council in Kano, says leaders at all levels should spare no expense in guaranteeing a safer and prosperous Nigeria.
I want to assure all our political leaders of our neutrality in whatever we do, because we care for this country, we care for our people. We'll continue to help to stabilize this.
The Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service, Hamid Ali, says all citizens must cooperate with government to bring to an end the activities of smugglers in view of implication on the economy and national security. He said this while interacting with the House Committee on Customs.
We are ready to do everything, Mr. Chairman, as customs do responsibility to ensure that we block the arms coming into this country. But I want to assure you that we will not alone be able to stop arms or total smuggling of arms into this country. We need the support of each and every one of us.
Now, following the launch of the alternate school program by the federal government to ensure that every out-of-school child in Nigeria gains access to quality basic education, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has held an inaugural meeting with the National Steering Committee for the full implementation of a scheme.
Let us all remain mindful that the alternate school program possesses the potential for every child to gain access to quality education irrespective of social, cultural, or economic standing, as well as provide a means of improving household incomes.
The Office of the President of the Senate says it has noted a tweet by one mayor attributing a fabricated statement to the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President of the Senate on Media and Publicity, Ola Awoniyi, describes the tweet as mischievous, where the President of the Senate was quoted as saying he won't mind a constitutional amendment to allow unlimited term of office for President Buhari if he wishes to remain in office beyond 2023. The statement added that the President of the Senate has never made any such statement before or after 2019. And that concludes the morning news in Good Morning Nigeria. The program will continue in just a moment with Kirian and Kinsley.
My name is Dr. Faisal Shuaib. I am the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Earlier today, I took my first shot of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Despite all of the delays, all of the doubts, here we are, Nigerians can finally access the vaccines. I hope that Nigerians will come out and get this vaccine because these vaccines are safe, they're effective, and they truly work. Over the course of the next few weeks, we have to continue wearing face masks. We have to do social distancing. But I know eventually once we're able to get herd immunity, then we'll be able to stop all of these non-pharmaceutical interventions. To get the vaccination, you should go to the NPHCDA website. There's a link on there that you click and you can register and schedule exactly where you want to get your vaccine.
Contemporary times require practical skills to remain competitive and relevant in your organization. Therefore, take advantage of NTA TV College short proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Basic Broadcast Accounting and Auditing. Date 19th April to 30th April 2021. 2 weeks. Audio Engineering, Operations and Maintenance. Date 19th April to 23rd April 2021. 1 week. Protocol, Event Management and Public Relations. Date 3rd May to 14th May 2021. 2 weeks. Intermediate Camera Operation Techniques. Date 17th May to 11th June 2021. 4 weeks. The course fee for the 4-week course is 100,000 naira per participant. The fee for the 2-week course is 80,000 naira, while the course fee for the 1-week course is 40,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. Venue for all the courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos. Training you to be the best you want to be.
Moments to laugh with Indomie. Moments to learn with Indomie. Moments to care with Indomie. Moments to share with.
Super moms create special family moments with their love. Celebrate these delicious moments with Indomie noodles. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Download the Airtel TV app to watch all the fun and exciting performances of The Voice Nigeria Season 3 every Saturday and Sunday at 8 p.m. The Voice Nigeria, connected by Airtel, the smartphone network.
Mommy is ready to receive me a bundle of joy. Mommy is making my home cleaner and safer. We are Dettol, Dettol.
Illnesses can happen at home too. That's why Dettol and me together will make my baby's home safe and to protect from up to 100 illness-causing germs. That's why moms want to be Dettol. Dettol Sure.
We are Dettol, Dettol Sure.
You won't go shake your body. Instead, they make it calm down. Eat the fun say sabi. You want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass your power. You want to show yourself, oh.
Whatever your size, find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smartphone network.
This vaccine is safe and it has been certified safe and usable by NAFTA.
You're watching Good Morning Nigeria, reaching you live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. It's time for business news, and here is our correspondent, Kunle Adeyeye.
With every country's attention focused on economic recovery from the effects of COVID-19, Nigeria is set to have a rare opportunity to adjust and recover quickly. Chad Blackman, ambassador and permanent representative of Barbados to the World Trade Organization, in one of his recent visits to Nigeria, acknowledged the country's quick recovery from recession and said the country's economic managers displayed uncommon ingenuity in managing the economy.
To ensure that the productive sectors across Nigeria's economy can now yield benefits in ways that it has not done before. So, for example, the creation of goods that are sustainable, the creation of goods that are in demand externally.
He said this will continue to make Nigeria an investment destination. Enter the capital market on Tuesday, March 30, 2021, where investors lose as Nigeria Stock Exchange All-Share Index depreciated by 0.57%. With business news, I'm Kunle Adeyeye.
Many thanks, Kunle, for that business package. And next for us is newspaper review.
Newspaper reviewer Bayo Atebe is right here with us in the studios. Bayo, good morning and welcome.
Thank you, Kinsley. Good morning. Good morning, Kadian.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, now let's begin with the Nation newspaper. Above the name flag of the newspaper, we have gunmen kill Catholic priest in Benue, clergy abducted in Kaduna, all on page 2. Motorcycles, donkeys bring in arms, says Ali. Tokumboka's policy for review. Tinubu, I meant hiring of 50,000, not 50 million, into security agencies. Find out details of that on page 28 of the Nation newspaper. And now below the name flag, doctors list conditions to shelf strike. Presidency findings on Boko Haram sponsors shocking. Money being transferred to terrorists from UAE, and many are under arrest. That's according to the newspaper. Details of that on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Of course, the photo story there shows President Muhammad Buhari leaving for for the UK, and that was yesterday. No power transfer as Buhari begins medical vacation. Details on page 3. Islamic Council attacks Khan on hijab. Others is on page 4. Police rescue 8 kidnapped victims. Police rescue 8 kidnapped victims. That's on page 20, or 28 rather, of the Nation newspaper. Yeah, Kinsley.
All right, let's take a look at the window page of the Daily Trust newspaper. Below the nameplate, Senate panel faults federal government's 995 million euro loan request for agric mechanization. Senate panel faults federal government's 995 million euro loan request for agric mechanization. That's page 3. On page 39, no move to initiate third term for Buhari as attributed to Lawan, Senate President. How tax law forces manufacturers to pay higher than banks. And the late story, of course, comes with the double-decker headline, gunmen kill 31 as Buhari tasks service chiefs to be proactive. 27 murdered in Ebonyi reprisal, that's one of the 3 riders. 4 shot dead in Benue. Community leader and vet doctor kidnapped in Adamawa. And then below the photograph of the new corps members who are in the batch A stream of the NYC service here, you have the other headlines there. I made a mistake. Tinubu clarifies comment on recruitment of 50 million youth. Then Kano approves 8.9 billion naira for proposed Buhari interchange. And Norge urges Nigerians to reject moves to delist local government areas. That's on page 4. Bio.
Thank you, Kinsley. Let's start with a story. Before President Muhammadu Buhari left for United Kingdom yesterday, he presided over a security meeting with service chiefs. And from a briefing that came from the National Security Advisor, the President specifically gave directives that security chiefs should identify and take out bandits, kidnappers, and their sponsors. This order was given when he chaired security meeting before departing for United Kingdom. National Security Advisor, who provided the brief after the meeting, said the President warned head of security agencies that the situation where criminal bandits and kidnappers are dictating the pace in security challenges will no longer be tolerated. The meeting with service chiefs with the President also asserted that the governors came after governors. He had met with governors of Northwest, governors of North Central, and the chairman governors forum. The President reiterated the ban on mining in Zamfara as well as no-fly zone. The President says he's impressed with the way the new service chiefs have started, and particularly with operational visits, addressing troops and looking to their needs, and also coming up with immediate, medium, and long-term measures to tackle insecurity. Meanwhile, 27 persons were reported killed by gunmen in what Governor Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State described as reprisals in 4 local governments in 4 communities in Ishielu local government area of Ebonyi State. Governor Umahi said it is reprisal for killing 2 herdsmen about a year ago, for which those who were behind it have been arrested and been awaiting trial. However, Fulani leaders in Ebonyi are reported by Daily Trust to have said that they are not aware of what happened. The governor says that the attackers will be tracked and apprehended. He has also demanded the security chiefs to fish out those people to make sure that they face the wrath of the law.
But how did the governor, how did he get to know that there's a reprisal attack when the Fulani leaders in the area said they didn't know about what happened? So for me, it's opening another issue for entirely, because if it's a reprisal attack, it does mean that because of the 2 herdsmen he said that were killed some months ago, some time ago. So how did he come to the conclusion that these are reprisal attacks? Because of course, initially, of course, we know they also have inter-communal clashes from time to time.
Yes, there has been persistent communal crisis, but don't forget the governor is the chief security officer in the state, and he gets briefs about what is happening there. And for him to have made that public statement, he certainly must have credible information indicate that it was reprisal. The other story that Kingsley read, in Benue, a priest and 3 other persons were suspected to have been killed by persons described as bandits. This happened in the early hours of yesterday in Katsina. In Adamawa, 2 persons were abducted by bandits. One of them is the Serkin Shanu, the other is the veterinary doctor, Dennis Malum. And also in Kaduna, the police command have succeeded in rescuing 8 kidnapped victims from bandits at Galadimawa in Kidandan of Giwa local government area. Spokesman for the police, Mohammed Jalige, says that the persons were actually abducted February 28. They were traveling in a luxury bus from somewhere in Kano to somewhere in Delta State, and they were abducted along Kaduna-Zaria Expressway. Men Operation Puff Adder 2, during their patrol, intercepted them, and the bandits abandoned their abductees. But speaking about concerns about security, the presidency says that it has discovered sponsors of Boko Haram and bandits in Nigeria. This statement was given by Senior Special Assistant to the President, Garba Shehu, when he says money is transferred by terrorists from United Arab Emirates to Nigeria. And he also added that sponsors include operators of Bureau de Change. Meanwhile, there is a link between ransom for bandits and also insurgency. This indication was given by the governor of Ekiti State, who is chairman of the Governor Forum, when he briefed the president some days ago. And the Senior Special Assistant to the President says that this revelation is a product of intelligence. Meanwhile, there is an NGO has also alleged that funds worth about $400 million have been stolen from Nigeria and has been stacked away in United Arab Emirates. Human and Endurance Development Agency, HEDA, says that 800 assets uncovered by investigators indicate that some of them are from 13 top security officials. This involved 216 assets. It also says that about 584 others have been traced to public officers. Meanwhile, at the communique they issued, they called on government to enforce the international obligations like UN conventions on corruption, to take advantage of international cooperation, technical assistance, assets recovery, and military legal assistance to retrieve some of these monies. Super Eagles yesterday doubled the Crocodiles of Lesotho 3-0. Victor Osimhen had the first goal. Ogene Karo Etebo added the second, and Paul Nachu, who got the only goal against Benin Republic, got the third goal. This completed the 6 matches the Eagles had played, winning 4 and drawing 2, the 2 they played with Sierra Leone. Victor Osimhen, who got the first goal, was also voted man of the match. Throughout the tournament, he has scored 5 goals. Meanwhile, the federal government has declared Friday, April 2nd and Monday, April 5th as public holidays. Minister of Interior, Ralph Adewesola, says that the declaration is to mark Easter celebrations. He's enjoining all to emulate the attributes of forbearance, forgiveness, kindness, humility, love and peace, as well as demonstrated by Jesus Christ. He also called for prayers for peace, unity and progress in Nigeria. And lest we forget, COVID-19 is still there. We had 121 new cases in 13 states yesterday. Lagos had the highest 40, FCT had 15, Katsina had 12 and Kaduna 11. Others had just single digits. The total so far, 162,762. Unfortunately, we had 7 deaths yesterday. It's taking our total fatalities to 2,056. For now, those in treatment are only 9,174. It means that we are succeeding in curbing COVID-19, but we must not let loose our attention to non-pharmaceutical measures.
Vaccination is also ongoing, different places. Some of
us
were privileged to have our own jabs yesterday. Right, so if that also can be stepped up, globally, and if Nigeria can have more access to vaccines, right? So it will be advisable for Nigerians to also key into that.
So what is the experience of having the jab?
Yeah, well, I didn't have any reaction personally. I didn't. But some did. Some had reactions, perhaps pains and what have you. But it's mild, right? So the important thing is not just the pain or the reaction. The important thing for you to have it, so that we can begin to fight the virus from that angle. When you are vaccinated, at least you are almost 80 or 90% sure that you may not be able to contract it, from someone who has it. But many Nigerians are not interested in the vaccine in the first place. They seem to have some mixed feelings about the vaccine. Perhaps they don't want to believe in the efficacy of the vaccines.
Yes, it's because of the doubt, conspiracy theories that has been spread across the world, especially on the social media. But that notwithstanding, even in Europe, where they had to stop 8 countries, they found out that a batch of AstraZeneca vaccine that was manufactured in Europe was found to be faulty, and they have taken out those batches. Those were the batches for which there were reactions in Norway and a few other countries for which initially they stopped. The deployment we got to Nigeria was coming from Mumbai. It is from this manufacturer. There is a vaccine manufacturer entity in India which is said to be the largest in the world. They have this specialty in producing vaccines. That was where they have the license from Oxford AstraZeneca to manufacture the vaccines. That is where the Nigerian batch came from. And so far, vaccination is gone beyond 500,000 now. And there have not been any serious adverse reactions as far as the situation in Nigeria is concerned. In South Africa had to sell off about 1.4 million doses to other countries because they found out that the AstraZeneca vaccine is not effective for the South African COVID-19 variant, which is not what we have in Nigeria. What we have in Nigeria is the UK variant. So those are the nuances that surrounding it. So all those who have their doubts, the doubting Thomases will eventually come to realize that, yes, it is safe to take the vaccine.
Well, just as you've had corona skeptics, so you have vaccine skeptics. As you said, the hope is that they will turn around and let them not be misled by the conspiracy theories that have flooded the social media. Worldwide, tens of millions of persons have been vaccinated. And so if a few instances of adverse reactions and probably a couple of deaths as well, it shouldn't be enough to dissuade others. I mean, your regular medication, people can have adverse reactions. Regular medication. I mean, it's for us here is malaria, isn't it? Some persons will take some malaria medication and they react adversely.
Yes.
I mean, some persons will tell you there are certain kinds of malaria drugs are not effective for them, or if you take certain kinds of malaria treatment, they tend to react in a way. So it's the individual constitution. And I think the important thing is for people to be aware and take responsibility for their own personal health and for those who are around them and what is required to be done. If I've heard this comment made that, the government has already issued a disclaimer that in the event of any adverse reaction to the vaccine manufacturer will not be held liable. Of course, they have had to issue that considering the extraordinary circumstances under which the vaccines were developed. Extraordinary circumstances being, of course, what the world has experienced in the course of the pandemic. And so some of the liability clauses ordinarily will have to be waived. And that's why you're saying that in the event of any adverse reactions, they will not be held liable. So it's a two-way thing to say that, look, we are presenting this to humanity to save us from the scourge of this pandemic. And if you want to be a part of it, all well and good. Take responsibility. If corona doesn't pluck somebody down, some other cause might do it.
And it will affect so many things. For those of them who travel out of the country, right? A time might come when, if you don't present your coronavirus vaccination card, you may not be able to fly.
Admitted, yes.
It might come to that level, with time. Yeah.
That's right. All right. Bye, Toby. We would like to appreciate you for being around. We'll see you again tomorrow. Okay, it's Good Morning Nigeria on NTA's network service. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll be dealing with the item for conversation this morning, which is on the cleanup of Ogoni 2016. That was announced in June of that year. What has been the progress?
My name is Nancy Oyedia Orom. I'm AIT correspondent. I've been covering the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 the last 1 year. I just took the jab, the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and it was seamless. And I was opportune to take these vaccines with the SGF, the ministers. So I want to use this medium as a journalist for someone who has experienced COVID in the last 1 year. I want to implore media houses, broadcast industries. Let's join hands together to propagate the good information out there for people to believe in these vaccines. That's the only way we can have health immunity and also achieve the projection and target of Nigeria come 2022. Well, I must implore all Nigerians to go out there, register on the Primary Healthcare Development Agency website. These vaccines are free for all Nigerians. Go to the website, register. It is free for you and I.
Mommy is ready to receive me a bundle of joy. Mommy is making my home cleaner and safer. We are Dettol sure.
Illnesses can happen at home too. That's why Dettol and me together will make my baby's home safe and to protect from up to 100 illness-causing germs. That's why moms want to be Dettol. Dettol sure.
We are Dettol sure.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action Toothpaste for clinically proven rapid relief from sensitivity.
Dear customer, link your Airtel number to your national identification number today. Here are easy ways you can do it. Dial *121*1# on your Airtel line and follow the prompts on the screen. Type in your 11-digit government-approved NIN number. You will receive a confirmation message to confirm your entry. You can also visit www.airtel.com.ng/NIN to link your phone number to your NIN. If you do not know your NIN, simply dial *346# to get it. No stress, no wahala.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
For your family, because 100% of our milk is sourced from our farms. This means that we control the entire production process from grass to glass, taking great care in every step to ensure the milk that gets to you is of high quality, great tasting, and enriched with essential nutrients that are great for your family. Available in Dano Cool Cow, Dano Full Cream, Dano Slim, and Dano Flavored Milk.
For over 70 years, we've practiced healthy hygiene habits together. The world needs us to keep our fight going against germs. So let's wash our hands for 20 seconds regularly. Dettol. Protect what's worth fighting for.
All right, well, thank you for staying with us on the program. As a prompt for our conversation this morning on the subject matter, let's join our correspondent Kunle Adeye for this background report.
A clean environment guarantees healthy living. Some parts of the present-day environment have been degraded as a result of natural and man-made disasters. Ogoniland in Rivers State has been polluted due to oil exploration in the area. It has since become survival of the fittest for people in the area getting daily livelihood from their major occupation, which is fishing and farming. The federal government in 2016 flagged the Ogoni cleanup through the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP. 5 years after, some who have watched with keen interest have berated the pace of the exercise. The federal government recently announced that it is contemplating using products and technologies developed by New York-based scientists for environmental remediation of Ogoniland and other oil-impacted areas in the Niger Delta. With the scientists visiting Nigeria to showcase the products, it shows the readiness of both parties to achieve the dream of cleaning up Ogoniland. What is responsible for the slow pace of work on the cleanup of Ogoniland? 5 years after its commencement, does the host community have any role to play? Guests on Good Morning Nigeria are earnestly waiting to provide answers to these questions.
Many thanks, Kunle Adeyeye, for that background. Now, with us in the studios to discuss the issue, would like to welcome the chairman of the Board of Trustees of HYPREP, Dr. Mike Nwelagi. Dr. Nwelagi, pleasure to have you with us on the program this morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Nigerians.
Also here with us in the studios, Kirian, would like to welcome the operations officer overseeing the HYPREP project coordinating office. That's Professor Philip Shakwolo. Professor Shakwolo, pleasure to have you with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
We also have joining us in Abuja here, Mr. Celestine Akbobari. He is actually representing the non-governmental organizations. Mr. Akbobari, it's good to have you this morning on our show.
Good morning, Nigerians.
All right, gentlemen, let's begin this conversation. We're expecting to be joined later on in the course of the conversation by another very important guest. But first, with the chairman of the HYPREP Board of Trustees, you'll listen to our background report, and we recall that nearly 5 years ago, in June 2016, there was a great deal of excitement when the commencement of the Ogoni cleanup was announced. Indeed, it was a subject matter for our conversation on Good Morning Nigeria. So nearly 5 years down the road, there appear to be comments relating to the pace of work. Our backgrounder described that pace as pretty slow. What is happening? Let's begin with the chairman of the Board of Trustees.
Thank you very much. The project has been on. Like you know, this is a very huge project. And as it were, a lot of things needed to be put in place. At the inception of this project, virtually the HYPREP was like sharing an office with NOSRA. There were no staffers, nothing, no vehicle. So by the time you start piecing these things together and keeping them and ensuring that you start up, it will take quite some time. Then you now talk about assessing the funds. The funds are not in the drawers of anybody where you can just get to and just bring. You need to assess the funds, and there are procedures. Actually, my own role as Board of Trustees is to harvest the funds, manage them, disburse them, and then oversee what has been done. That's really our own duty. And for us, the money for HYPREP is there, but modalities, the things that we have to put in place. But I must tell you that it has taken off, and so much has been achieved as like the project coordinating office will tell you later.
All right. Yours is a very critical role, you know, if you ask me, based on the issue of the fact that you have to harvest the fund, also ensure that the funds are distributed, and also monitor how the fund is being expended on the very clean-up exercise we're talking about. But 5 years is a long time, you know. Are there areas of Ogoni land that you could say have been cleared since 5 years? Is there any area or any measure of any geographical location in that community, or communities as the case may be, that you could say that work has gone down, and then we could now raise your head to say, look, fine, we have been able to get this one done, and we're facing others?
Yes, so much has been done. You see, based on the UNEP report, those areas that were assessed, things have been done. If you look at, except those areas that were not actually assessed by UNEP, but for those areas that were assessed, work has started, and that's why we are here. You know, the last
Is there any inhibition in assessing, in having access to some areas?
Well, initially, when the assessment started, there were some areas that actually had the difficulty. The UNEP people couldn't assess because of intra community problems. So those areas were not adequately assessed. But for those areas that were assessed, work has started, and it is ongoing, as the coordinating office will tell you. So much has been achieved, I can tell you.
Okay, Chairman, Board of Trustees, I want to still stay with you, because I would like you to clarify one point you made. You said the funds for the cleanup couldn't be located in any person's drawer. That's a metaphor for saying that the funds probably were not readily available. And then again, you said, oh, now the funds are available, and that your responsibility as Board of Trustees is to harvest the funds. I recall that 5 years ago, one of the points that was made very clear was that funding wasn't going to be a major headache for the cleanup of the Ogoni exercise because of the clear pathways that had been set out for the funding of the cleanup exercise. Where are you in terms of the adequacy of funds for this exercise?
Okay. When I said the funds are not in my drawer, I'm only saying that it is not just in my room where I can just take.
That's why I said you use the metaphor.
Yes. So, but the funds are available. They are in the banks. You know, they come from escrow before you now take it to the local banks. So what I'm saying is that these monies are there. They are intact. Apart from the ones that have been spent for this cleaning, the cleaning of exercises, like we said. The funds is not a problem for this project. The funds are just there. And we are ready to assess the board because of due procedure. Now, when the coordinating office initiates a job, it goes up to the governing council. The governing council will look at it, look at all the issues involved. Now, the governing council will write to the Board of Trustees for release of funds. We will look at all the issues involved, and then we will release funds accordingly, in that order, back to the coordinating office. That's how the monies are spent. So it's because of the due process of this government, things must take course of how these monies will move. So that's why I'm saying that it is not something you just assess. That is just get your drawer out, pick up the money and give. No, it must take due process. But the monies are there.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Nwuyalage. Professor Philip Shekolo, who is, of course, the operations officer overseeing the coordination office of HYPREP. Let's start off from where the chairman of the Board of Trustees left off. Follow due process, and he has indicated the channels are following due process. Overall, is this due process now becoming another bureaucratic bottleneck hampering the operations of HYPREP?
Well, I wouldn't say so. Maybe to just give you a kind of a short background. Coordinating office was set up in March 2017, and they had to start setting up and building up their staff strength and identifying people who work with them. Some were deployed from ministries for administrative support, and some were recruited from outside for technical support. And then there's actually the structure started shaping up 2018, and the first contracts for the remediation work were awarded in February 2019, almost 2 years after. So you can see that the teething problem just set up was almost 2 years.
Why was this so?
Well, again, I would say it's a combination of experience and capacity of leadership. Yeah, because it all depends on how prepared you are. If you don't have an experience on how to set up such kind of offices, that could be part of the speed problem. Yeah, we had a young person who didn't have much, such kind of a project of that kind of experience. But again, it all depends on how he also seeks for help, in such kind of situations. If you have people around you that, know what to do and they're supporting you, that really will be easier. So basically, so you can see we lost almost 2 years in just setting up and starting off. So when they started 2019, yeah, there are quite some little challenges, as you said, in the communities. There was some resistance, people claiming, oh, the benefits coming will be good, so this land is my land, so if you don't, so struggle for the land became even the setback for contractors to mobilize. They're not allowed to mobilize. Those that at times mobilizing contractors became a challenge. They may be asking for all kinds of things just because of lack of clear understanding and maybe not adequate engagement. Could have also resulted to that kind of problems, teaching problems that slow down the process. Then 2020, the second set of contracts were awarded, and they are working now. They couldn't work, it was around February. They couldn't mobilize until around October, some of them, because of this COVID. So COVID slowed down that process of the second batch. So they could only go back to, they couldn't start work around, most of them, October, almost 9 months lost. And now they are now in the field, and we're trying to see how we can, move the process forward. And I believe we can recover. It's possible to recover once we are getting more structured and more organized.
Okay. We'll still get back to you in this coordination aspect of the job, because as you pointed out that it was in 2019 that the first contract was awarded.
Yes.
After the remediation plan was hatched in 2016. So let's get Mr. Celestine Bobari here, who is representing non-governmental organization. I take it that you started following HYPREP since 2016 when it was inaugurated. And from what we have been told here now, that it was not really an easy thing, to access the funds which are available but through due process that happened. And then since 2016, it was only in 2019 that the first contract was awarded, according to the coordinator here. What's your own assessment of the entire scenario? Because by now, Nigerians believe that, Ogoni land would have been halfway cleaned up, if not nearing completion.
Well, like you said, I've been following up on this program. In fact, I was a member of the presidential tax team that was set up to actually launch this program in 2016. And after that, by November, the governance structure, the Governing Council and the BOT, were inaugurated by Mr. President before the Coordination Office in March 2017. And remediation is a highly technical issue. Don't forget that this report on Ogoni was submitted to the federal government of Nigeria on the 4th of August 2011. And, it took a whole lot of time, about 5 years, for this whole thing to kickstart. So you don't just pick up machines and go to site. You need to actually know the level of pollution as and when you are starting, because our land is permeable. So this whole thing has percolated down, so you need to know the level. Because at the time that report, the UNEP submitted their report, it said 5 meter deep was dead of the land. So I think the project coordination office, when they kickstarted, had to train up some young men from Ogoni that has degrees in the environment and related courses, train them on how to pick up this soil tests and all that for them to ascertain the level of pollution before you apply whatever that they wanted to do. So I think that actually took some time to get to that 2019 when they awarded. Yeah, so far I will say that IPREP could have done better. They could have done better. I know that just like the project coordination office overseer said, experience, because this job has not been done before anywhere. It is just starting. So I think it took them some time to actually kickstart. Setting up things is not easy. It's like a flight taking off. You don't just board the flight and hit the air. No, you board you do the check-in, you board, and you taxi. Get to some point before you even remove the seat belt indicator. So it's a whole lot of processes. But I think that where we are now, we are good to go by the kind of structure that the present minister put in place. Now, I think he has done some restructuring. I think that we are almost on the speed lane, and most of the things that people were expecting will begin to come.
One question I'd like you to answer is this. Are there areas in Ogoni land that one could say have been cleared? Because the extent of pollution in that area is well known to Nigerians and even the international community. Are there areas that have been cleaned up now that you can point out to say, look, these particular areas have been taken care of? Well, we'll come back to you on that question, right? For let's pause you for now. Much later in the program, we'll come to you on that particular question. But for now, maybe Kinsley would like to introduce.
That's right, Kieran. We did say that we'll be joined by another guest in the course of this conversation. So let's welcome now the Honorable Minister of Environment. That's Dr. Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar. Honorable Minister, pleasure to have you with us on Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's take off from the comments that the other guests have made before we introduced you. It is nearly half a decade into the Ogoni cleanup following the flag off. And flag off was in June 2016. We understand that it took about 2 years, almost 3 years, 2 years to set up the structures, get people to be engaged and so on and so forth, and another 3 years altogether in 2019 before the first set of contracts were awarded. And then 2020, of course, is being blamed on the pandemic that frustrated work and so on and so forth. And here we are, March is coming to an end. In fact, March ends today. And before we know it, we have a countdown to the 2nd of June, 2016, which will be 5 years since the flag off took off. Are you satisfied with what the cleanup project has demonstrated so far or has been able to achieve so far?
Well, let me start by saying, as far as timeline is concerned, we are a little bit behind. This is a project that by now we should have at least cleaned up the first set of plots that have been awarded for cleanup. Presently, I can say out of the first 21, we have cleaned up about 16. But not all the 16 that have been certified by NOSDRA, which is the certification body. However, the 16 have been cleaned. And why we are so thorough with this is because Mr. President has said time and time again that the job should be according to the specification by the recommendation of United Nations Environment Program. So In timeline, no, I'm not really satisfied, but we are pushing to see that we can catch up. With this kind of remediation, it's not easy to just breeze through, because then what you will be doing is really touching off the surface, just like he has mentioned. It's not just 5 meters, but in some places, contractors will have to go as far as 9 meters. What we said is do whatever it takes to make sure that when we said it's clean, then it's clean. So in terms of other things, am I satisfied? For the structure, no, but now I'm satisfied because we looked at the project when we came, where it is, what is happening, what is going on with the structure and everything, and we found that it's what is not going too well. Again, I went to Mr. President. He approved for restructuring, which we have just done, the BOT, the Governing Council, project coordination and all that. We have even strengthened our cooperation support with United Nations Environment Program, because right from the beginning, they have been part of the technical support, and they are still doing that. So now we are even moving it a notch higher with them, because I don't think there is anyone better that will know what to do about this Ogoni cleanup. So it's going, and I'm getting more and more satisfied. Again, like I said, there's only one option for this project is to succeed. It's not just finishing, but doing it well. So right now, we're almost finished with the restructuring, just maybe 1 or 2 things left. But last time we were in the Ogoni, they seem happy with the structuring, because what we try to do this time around is to make sure we find credible and experienced, competent Ogonis and put more of them in that project. For example, the BOT. The chairman currently is Ogoni. The secretary legal advisor is Ogoni. In any project, you have to make sure the people, the beneficiaries, buy into this, own this project. And that is when really you can get all the support you need.
You know, Honorable Minister, the more you are explaining this, the more one remembers. My colleague and I, Kirian, have dealt with this subject matter in the course of various editions of Good Morning Nigeria. There were comments some years ago when the high prep and the governance structure was being said. There were complaints, but it seemed as if these complaints were either brushed aside or considered not necessary. To say, oh no, because I remember some Ogoni indigenous who were saying, look, this is not going to work. You're having a top-down approach to a remediation work that involves our lives and livelihood, and you are not bringing us on board. Well, are you saying now that you have overcome that? And if so, what particular lessons have you learned that indeed others can use in some other circumstances in terms of, executing programs and projects?
I think we are overcoming that. Yes, you are right. When the Ogoni project started all by itself, from the very beginning, let me just, rehash a little bit of this is a project that has never been done here in Nigeria before, at that magnitude especially. So you are bound to find some hiccups, bubbles. And then, actually, the very first one could not even take off. So we still have a part that we call the defunct Ogoni project. So that was all done. Yes, you ask about bottom down or this. That is why we now critically look at it and realize, yes, there must be an ownership of this project. And today, I can say, reasonably, I am satisfied the people in that area who are the beneficiaries are now part and parcel of this project. And I can see right now the enthusiasm is better now more than any other time since my coming into the office. So yes, we have done something new, and I think it's going to work. The day we went there to flag off some water project, which by itself also should have been done years back because it's in the recommendation.
Oh, those were water projects were first-line projects.
Absolutely.
To be executed.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, that was not done. I think from the beginning they were just bringing in water in tanker trucks. That was not really what should have been done. So today we have given out 6 contracts. that were approved by the Federal Executive Council of over 6 billion. And these are really reticulated contract, real water project, not tanker truck project. So there I could see the enthusiasm. I could see a difference right from the time I came in, that people, yes, now feel, okay, yes, we do on this project. It was there even during the speeches. So I expect to see a more invigorated Ogoni project with the people, the buy-in. Not only we gave out the contract for the water, but also we gave out assessment forms that will, again, part of the livelihood. All this is part of like the first line of action of about 5,000 Ogoni women and youth. Currently, 400 women have been trained. Very soon we'll go and launch that because they have gone into various skills. This particular one is to even have people show what are they interested, what skills do they want to acquire, and then we'll use those forms to now variously classify them and give them all that. Livelihood is part and parcel of this. And
package.
Yeah, it is.
All right. The point is that well, many people have complained of the slow nature of the work so far. Well, you have made a point that because this is a very highly technical area that has not taken place in Nigeria for the first time. So this is just, for the first time in this country. Now, would you require independent verification mechanism, to evaluate the work being done in Ogoni land? You said that some areas have been cleared, certified cleared. Yeah. Now, is it according to your own verification or evaluation, or is it internationally evaluated cleaned areas in Ogoni land for now?
Absolutely internationally, because again, like I said, the directives from Mr. President is that this thing is done and is done well. That is why we retain UNEP as a technical partner that is looking at this. So UNEP is there, and there are other international organizations and countries that have interest. They do come from time to time to look at this thing. The British is there, Netherlands, Norway, other countries. So this is really a high-profile project that people are interested in, and we always get these people coming, and we are open for independent evaluators to look at what we are doing to make sure that we are not just saying. Of course, NOSDRA is part of the Federal Ministry of Environment that is shouldered with the responsibility of this kind of work, but we are open. And we'll continue to maintain our relationship with UNEP. Like I said, we are even moving it a notch further for them to do the project management consulting. We have disengaged a number of people that we believe were not adding the required value for this. Since my coming, and with the approval of Mr. President, we have changed about 6. We are not done. We still have a couple more to go. So this time around is something that has to be done and finished. Otherwise, it will be a big shame if, with the cooperation of the international oil companies providing the funding, and we cannot do this. And with what we said the other day, now that we have put in credible Ogonis to own this, there is no way that this thing should fail. If it does, then I don't know. I don't expect that. So there's only one option, like I said, it's gotta have to succeed.
Now, from all indications, would you say that there's need for further review of HYPREP's work in Ogoni land cleanup exercise?
What kind of review? You mean the structure or the working of the project?
The structure, the working of the project, whatever that could facilitate what you're doing at the moment.
Yes, we are continuing with that. There is need, and we are still doing it. We are still doing it, and we will continue to review. This time around, honestly, we have gone further with the support of Mr. President, and I can assure you that you will see a faster execution of project. And one of the slow things is the procurement also system that takes for ages sometimes in the past. And let me say something. The ministry has gone through a lot of changes in a short time, in the leadership. This minister left, this one came, this one. At one time, it was under the control of a permanent secretary who was there. So certain things have happened, during this transition, that transition. But I think we have found a handle on what this is. Number one is really the restructuring. And I think we have done that. A great majority of people, organizations are happy with this. Number two, we have kick-started one of the emergency measures, that is water and livelihood, and the people are happy. This will make the people to buy into this project all the more. The youth have been engaged and are being engaged in so many different trade skills and all that, and are being given this starter package that will put them as their own employers. So,
Honorable Minister, thank you very much. I wouldn't know how long Professor Shekwolo has been operations officer, whether you came in on account of the restructuring that has taken place, because part of the frustrations that have been expressed by stakeholders in the Ogoni cleanup project is what the Honorable Minister has just explained. One, there seemed to have been the engagement of some otherwise, incompetent contractors to handle projects. Two, there seemed also to have been the exclusion of the indigents of the place from some measure of ownership of the remediation of their sources of life and livelihoods. But more critical was the fact that was being circulated in some quarters that if we were not careful, we're then going to run into another challenge as you have with one of the intervention agencies for the oil-producing states in this country. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So that's why I say I don't know how long you've been on the saddle, but assuming you've been there long enough, how come some of these otherwise unqualified contractors, or persons who couldn't deliver premium quality service were engaged, and persons were being excluded, and we have this time lost. 5 years, and the percentage performance, obviously, I mean, it's not something to crow about, even though now you are seeming to gain altitude.
Well, I came in 2019, and basically, I think I wouldn't agree with you that contractors are incompetent, because the contractors' selection went through a robust system, I believe, and I think there is some perception that some people just say, well, the registration background said this and that, but again, it may not really be so, because there are many people that had some previous experience, a lot of them, in remediation, and they are part of this process. And then the issue of exclusion of indigents, also it's still a kind of a perception issues, because I know that currently the procurement that was carried out 2020, almost 90% of the qualified organic contractors were given jobs.
That's what's being done now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Earlier on, there were cries of exclusion.
Yeah. Yeah. So not that it's perfect, but it's a continuous improvement process, and Republic has been given support to make sure that the indigenous component is anchored. So continuously we are improving on this, and sometimes you may not see a direct contractor coming from Ogoni, but it's actually partner with those who don't have the competence to partner with people who have competence. So partnership is allowed. In fact, we encourage them to partner with international companies that have the experience, and then they can learn on the job. What we have been doing now, the current works are like the takeoff. There are some. There's the next component of works that will be much more complex. That is when we are going to be doing the groundwater remediation. And groundwater remediation requires very competent, experienced contractors. And in this country, we don't have many of them. So to be just wise that the partnership is forged between the local contractors and international contractors that have relevant experience to ensure that the groundwater remediation becomes a success.
Well, okay.
Yeah, let me say something about incompetent contractors or consultants. In some of the things, my own analysis, and when I went to Geneva and talked to the UNEP people in their headquarters, it's not so much incompetence, but it's like taking a good lightweight boxer, and put him in a heavyweight division. No matter how good he is, since he is lightweight, you put him in heavyweight, he's going to get knocked out because it's beyond his leg. Yes. So some of them, what we found out, the consultant, the project was just too much for them. They could not handle that. They are good if they are to be in their own division. So we did some of those changes also. We sought for approval, and we changed them because no matter how good you are from lightweight, Are you
a fan of boxing? Because I like the boxing analogy. You say if you take a minister says if you take a lightweight to heavyweight, that's a catchweight contest. In any case, no license will be issued for that fight to take place. I mean, because obviously the weight difference is huge.
Yes, let's bring in the chairman of High Prep Board of Trustees. One key issue here that we have been able to raise is that of involving indigents, virtually in all the departments of the operation in the cleanup exercise in Ogoni land. Yes, it is interesting to do that, at least to carry them along and to ensure that work goes on smoothly. But will that be allowed to affect the real work which is supposed to get to go and clean up? Because at a point, if we have to, say, look, that the indigents will have to be involved in all strata of the cleanup exercise, will it not, impinge on the real result that we're hoping to get, which is to clean up Ogoni entirely?
Okay. Well, it wouldn't, because you see, when we talk about getting the indigents, the minister has explained here that there's been a restructuring, and that restructuring has accommodated good minds from the place. So from the structure, everything will run down. So the way it is now, if you get the structure right, like we've gotten it right now, I am from Ogoni, I'm chairman of Board of Trustees. It wasn't like that before. There was out of this restructuring that I came on board. And so it was in both the governing council and the other departments. Now there are other people, other indigenous of other areas that are also in high prep. So now, but when you come and talk about livelihood, the report clearly states that the indigenous, the natives should benefit. And that's what is happening. But for contracting, other persons are also involved. Technical experts are involved, not just from Ogoni. So that is where we are now. So, for a rotten fish, it starts from the head. Now, if you get the head right, like we've gotten it right now, through the ministry haven't done this now by getting us involved. Now there is buy-in of the people. The people are happy. Now they are able to interface with us because he who feels it knows it. We are right there, and we know, we have it. We feel the pulse of the people, and we can carry this up to the board level and to the governing council level. So that's how it is structured.
But let me ask you this. I'm not, pausing you yet. You are from Ogoni. This is very interesting. Are there some Ogonis who are recalcitrant, in a way? Are there some of the people who believe that they have not been involved as much as it should be? Are there Ogonis who are feeling this way presently?
No, not after this restructuring. Yes, there were some some elements saying that no, they want the full control of the structure. And like I said, after the restructuring, these have been taken care of. So as we speak today, there are no dissenting voices in Ogoni. Everybody is on the same page for a successful cleanup. And like the minister pointed out, one word is sufficient as success of the project. That's what we are doing in the villages now. And it is ongoing.
Okay, but thank you, Chairman Board of Trustees. I want to come back very quickly to the Honorable Minister of Environment. You say in the first phase of remediation jobs for the cleanup of the soils, you had 21 of such projects. Now, 16 of them have been carried out. What is the face value evidence of the outcome of the remediation? In other words, I mean, I'm a lay person. I don't have training in soil science or environmental science. So how do I know, for instance, that the land has been cleaned up? And what have you found out?
Okay, like you said, you as a layman, the first thing you will see that if you are not there before and now you return, you would have noticed from the beginning, before the cleanup, there are areas where no even vegetation growing. So today you go back to that same lot, you will see vegetation growing. That will be like physical evidence that you will first see. Then the soil, well, a lot of this is, scientifically is when you will really notice, because the color of the soil may not have changed. What a lot of this, the contractors did was remediation in biocells. So they will take the soil deep, whether it's up to 9 meters or whatever, take it, mix it, clean it up, bring it back. The color most likely remain the same. So that will not tell you. But like I said, if you know that there was no vegetation here before, and then today you come back and there's vegetation, then we'll say, oh, why? Then that is when you will know that. But otherwise, you have to test this soil to know. And then any other things that you can perform or carry out. Again, people can now sit or farm on the land or use it and not be exposed to hydrocarbon pollutant. So except for that, one physical evidence you may not know just by looking as a layman. So it's something that, like we said, is technical. And the best way is really when if someone is in doubt, to have technical people that can examine this and tell, and we are open for that. This is a project that there should be no cutting corners. It's either do it well or don't do it at all. But we have no option of not doing it at all. This is a land that must be clean for the people, because in the past they have been subjected to all kinds of illnesses as a result of this hydrocarbon pollutant. And he mentioned quickly, just to go back on what he said about having the Ogonis be involved in it. Of course, there must be other people that will come from elsewhere, but what we are saying is the majority should be in there also that are qualified. When I went for the water project, an association of, I think, welders and fitters or something came, and they are demanding to be part of it. I said, of course, we'll make sure the contractors employ as many competent technical people in that area as they can. And this is, again, one of the things about buying in on project. We are doing the same thing with our planting project. The people in the community are the ones that will be working, looking after the trees, the seedlings, watering. So this is one of the ways to really get project going.
Okay, thank you, Honourable Minister. Mr. Celestin Bobare, we are bringing you back again. You are representing non-governmental organizations. You've listened to the Honourable Minister of Environment and, of course, the Chairman, Board of Trustees of High Prep raised a number of issues and I thought I've spoken to some key issues raised. 21 soil areas mapped out of that 16, according to the Minister, have been cleared. And, of course, we have a balance of very few now. All right. As a non-governmental organization representative, what is your take on all the issues raised by the Minister and, of course, the Board of Trustees with regards to how far the work has gone down in cleaning Ogoni land?
Like the chairman board of trustee, I'm also an Ogoni, and all my active life, I've lived it campaigning and advocating for a better environment in Ogoni, in the Niger Delta, and anywhere there is an abuse of the environment all over the world. And so I've been following up this project even before the Honorable Minister appointed me as a member of council. Initially, it was difficult, for the civil society to have access, into the place, to have an oversight of what was happening. But I think even as one that was outside then, I intervened, and civil society now came in. We have CISLAC led by Rafsanjani, and Center LSD led by Mondo Sasa from Abuja here, and some other civil society organization from the Niger Delta. So we were always on the field once in a while to see what was happening. Like the Honorable Minister said, from the first 21 lots, because there's another 36 lots now, from the first 21, like he said, yeah, about 15, 16 have been, certified and handed over. If you are driving to Ogoni, because most of the sites are on the road, you will see that some of these sites were locked, completely locked with crude oil, that dry and locked, blackish. But if you pass now, because the signpost is still there of the contractor, you will see, the place is now green, showing that life has come back, to that side. And I've not had the opportunity of visiting other sites. I don't hope that other sites, are like that, are like the one we are seeing on the road. If it is like that, then I think that the owners of those places, can go back for their farming. One issue that they talked about is having the Ogoni people as part of contractors or whatever. I think that from the first 21 lot, the biggest lot of that 21 was given to an Ogoni environmental remediation expert. And Jolie, and I think he did a good job. He was about the first to deliver on that side. So to say that Ogoni people were not part of that one wasn't quite correct. The only problem we have, politicians think that they will be in their houses and people will move to them, say, this is your own contract, this is your own lot. Remediation is not supply of stationaries, that it will be in your house. And it's highly technical, and they will just come and give you take, because you're a stakeholder, you take. That was what some people were expecting. Some others too didn't believe that because this thing was not budgeted for, I've been a former senator, it must be budgeted for, and we always told them that this is polluter pays principle. Polluters pay. When there was OSP in the Gulf of Mexico, Obama did not go and do a budget. And so they were expecting that until it is debated on the floor of the National Assembly, and they will award money, then they will know that cleanup is going on. They didn't believe it until when they started hearing that millions of dollars are rolling in. That was when they started believing. And so they said, nothing was going on. Nothing was going on because it was not getting to them. But I think that all that will change. One area that I think that the Honorable Minister need to, allow the spirit of restructuring to get to is the management staff of the place. Of all the departments in present IPREP, I don't think that any Ogoni person is heading anyone at all. I don't even think that any Ogoni is even second in command of any of the departments. And I think it is very wrong if that, if my assertion is correct. So I would like us to do a surgical operation in that area. Yeah, as for the governance structure, the BOT, and the governing council, we are saturated. He has done perfectly well, and that's why there is some measure of quietness and celebration back home when that announcement was made that after Ogoni people have filled all their slots, I was brought in to represent the civil society, which was not supposed to be an Ogoni slot. So I think that, like I said, the minister has decided to put this project on the speed lane. And we will soon hear the announcement that the seatbelt light has been turned off, so you can go. I think that's where we are.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the flight, as the pilot would say, from the flight deck. But I just want to stay with you, Mr. Celestine Akpobari. A very interesting point that you raised there, but we will, of course, continue with this aspect because the question I'm going to ask will necessitate you probably speaking for a while longer. So we'll go on a short break now. When we return, we'll continue with our interrogation of the Ogoni cleanup.
My name is Boss Mustafa, the Secretary to the Government and the Chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. I've just had the rare privilege of taking my first dose of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and I can tell you that we are doing very well in terms of our response and the administration of the vaccines all over the country. As strategic leaders, we are supposed to lead by example, and the President did precisely that on Saturday with the Vice President. And we are continuing in that particular direction. The essence of taking these vaccines is to help us really fight this COVID-19 virus. And the combination of the non-pharmaceutical measures and the vaccine is the way to go in 2021 and thereafter.
Every day, he has a drink packed with malt. Every day, he has a drink packed with malt and milk. Every day, he has a drink packed with malt, milk, and cocoa. Every day, he needs the nutritious goodness of Milo. Milo, the energy to go further.
You won't go shake your body. Instead, they make it calm down. If the farm say it's happy, you want to grow. 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass me your power. You want to show yourself, oh.
Whatever your size, find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
You don't wait for life. You go to meet life. It's not about how many chances you get. It's what you do with what you've got. Cup after cup. Morning after morning. Start strong. Finish strong. It all starts with a Nescafe.
Hello, I bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire. Teacher no one, a fellow one can je. Teacher no one, a fellow one can je. Ọmọ ní rẹsítì dé.
Ajebo na better school for last gidi. Not be all this on a rugged yes school for Ijabi. I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. Kadesi. We no happy at all.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders too. Hey, we are trying, shall. Sweep her leg out. She was standing there. Sweep it.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression that I was interested in that position?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I mean, that's why I talk with that now.
Not for me. Not for me because of me.
Okay, you're welcome back, and it's still Good Morning Nigeria, live on NTA's network service. We're broadcasting from our Abuja headquarters studios. I want to return to Mr. Celestine Akpobari, who is representing the non-governmental organizations on the Governing Council of HyPrep, that's in charge of the Ogoni cleanup. Mr. Akpobari, just before we went on the break, I was going to say that there are some points that you raised, which I would like you to further clarify. The project coordinator did also mention that there were still some lingering issues, that now that sites were being identified for the cleanup and cleanup has already commenced, there are some community members who are also jostling for their lands. You're having conflict over lands otherwise. How much of an issue is this? I mean, is it reminiscent of what we used to see in terms of pollution, that some persons would, I'm saying reminiscent, some persons will deliberately go to rupture pipelines so that their own lands are also seen to have been devastated, and then they get compensated for it. What's happening, and how much of a hindrance is this, if any, to the cleanup effort?
Well, yeah, I heard when the head of operations mentioned that, but I don't think that is much of an issue, because I know that we have that kind of problem on about 2 sites only. You know, there are a lot of benefits associated with ownership of that, because all the workers, let me say 90% of the workers that will work on that site, you know, we come from such a community. So there are some economic benefits attached to ownership of that. Not that they are fighting over it because they polluted the area or whatsoever. But again, issues of land is taken seriously in Ogoni, more so because all available arable lands in that territory, most of them are dead. According to, if you look at the Union report, I used to refer to it as a death sentence. The lands are dead, so the little one that's available, people tend to, hold it to their heart. So I think there's nothing wrong in community people coming out to say, we own this parcel of land. We own this parcel of land. It's not affecting the slow pace of this job. It can only, delay work from taking up such site, about 1 or 2 sites. But in the overall, about 99% of the sites do not have such issues. So I don't want us to go back to that. Normally we are dealing with human beings, so we must make room for such disagreement or struggle over site. We are not dealing with angels. Even angels have problems in heaven and somewhere thrown down. So it's not an issue. We should make room for that. And even more, I even commend my people that haven't suffered about 20-something years, in the struggle We lost over 2,000 people, and the patient tax are put to the wall, and the people are still out supporting a project like this. I think that's why I was not very happy when having laid the foundation stone for the Center for Excellence, which is recommended in the report, and we allow it, we didn't go back to that place, and a federal prison is sitting on the side where a world-class research center is supposed to be sited today. Now, I was discussing with the head of operations before we came into the studio that for us to go back to the drawing board to talk about Center for Excellence, we have to meet the state governor again to go and beg him to give us another land. Those are these lapses that I think that we try to avoid. But like I said, we are up and we are set to go. The Honorable Minister, from his body language, I see that he is quite determined. I can tell you that we will cover lost ground by the grace of God.
I know that you're itching to say something. I would like the Honorable Minister to respond to
what he just
said. Plus, how much cooperation or collaboration are you getting from the state government? Because part of the body language that we saw a few years ago, even after the flag off of the cleanup, seemed to have been some indifference or some cynicism or skepticism about the willingness of the federal government to actually coordinate and see this project to fruition. But what level of cooperation are you getting now from the state government, plus what Akpobori just said about the conversion of a center of excellence to a prison yard?
Okay, and before that, the conflict on land and even leadership tussle, he said it's not a problem. It is a problem. Even if it's one lot, when we go in there, they will say, oh, they are fighting over this piece of land. I said, yes, we are not here for land dispute. Let us clean the land so that whoever gets the land in the end is getting a clean land. There are sites where it has taken months from the time we awarded the project to the time to start operation. Every time the contractors go there, they will stop them from working. That's not good. Even if it's one lot, I disagree. I think it's a problem. I will say it now on national TV. The people should understand we are not there for leadership tussle. We are not there for land issue, just for clean up. So let it be cleaned, and then you resolve it on a clean land, number one. Number two, the Center of Excellence is there in the report, is also part of the responsibility of the ministry in carrying out, and we will go back to the state government to get another land. Now, cooperation. Yes, before now, there seemed to be not so much, cooperation with the state government for whatever reasons. Let's go beyond that. I was there, the last time I was there, I went and visited the governor. We must work with the state government. They are also a stakeholder in this whole affair. And 2 or 3 of the water project belong to the state government that we are converting and rehabilitating to make sure we give the Ogoni people. And some of the projects are brand new construction of reticulated water. So the cooperation is increasing. I met the governor about 2-3 times, and each time we seem to understand each other more, that this is something that we're there to do. Of course, we have to work with everyone to make sure we get the place cleaned up, we get all the livelihood programs in, and everything. It's improving. It's improving.
Okay, now, Honorable Minister, you have made comments on almost all the issues raised in this program with respect to the cleaning up of Ogoni land. So, which means that now you are stabilized in spite of all these difficulties and the hiccups here and there. So, when are we looking at? What is the timeline with respect to when we can say that Ogoni land has gone maybe 90% cleaned up? Are we looking forward to that, or is it going to be a perpetual project? It's going to last for how long, do you think?
No, it's not going to be perpetual, not at all. But like I said, we have lost some ground, and we are trying hard to recover that time lag. Again, being careful as a technical project to not in trying to speed up and leave behind areas that are still contaminated. We are behind about a year. it may not be easy. If we are to conclude this, let's say 2022 or 23, we may shift to another year or so. But with the current reconstruction, restructuring, we expect to move further because the community is given the buy-in. In fact, one other thing, sometimes even the youth, when the contractors come, they stop them from working because of one reason or another. But I see they are now also into it. So we expect to gain ground. We may not finish at the exact time that we plan. If it's a year behind, I will still be happy as long as it's done well. And now I can see that we are on the way to doing it well, as you have heard from the Ogonis themselves. And there are more credible Ogonis that are now in the GC and the BOT that were not there before. And they have the backing of their people. The local government chairman, I have met with them. The 4 local government that we are dealing with, Kana, Gokana, Eleme, and Tai, they are also there. And it's one of the things that I believe we should push, having the cooperation of the community. That will make everything to go a little faster.
From what the Honorable Minister is saying, Kingsley, there may be need for chairman of Board of Trustees, to come in here. He has said that in some communities that contractors have difficulty operating in those areas, and some youths also come up with some reasons why they should stop contractors from working. So, is that not an issue to you as an Ogoni person?
It's certainly an issue, and the Honorable Minister had underscored that. But we are saying this was before this time. Now, everybody appears to be on the same page after restructuring. We keep talking to our people when they call us. They assess me, my phones are open. In fact, there was one group that called the other day and was saying, one specific group that called and said, don't you think that the minister is supposed to give us a certificate that the youth should be seen before any operation will take place? And I said, young man, hold it there. How on earth would you say a non-government person will now come to superintend over a government affair? How do you now come in to say the minister will write you, give you a certificate that every contractor must see you? And he said, he's sorry, sir. He's very sorry. It won't happen again. So this is the way we are engaging them. We engage them by talking to them, interacting with them.
Yes.
And we keep telling them, we said, young men, don't allow this land that have been cleaned to be repolluted. Let the crude oil remain in the pipes and in the tanks. Don't break them. Don't just break them. Allow them be there. Because now, even though it is going to take 35 years, as indicated by the UNEP report, to clean the entire Ogoni land, yes, but we can do it before that time. What is wrong in doing it before that time? And the only way we can do it is that you must give peace a chance. You must give peace a chance. Sometimes it's not really directly related, and it is not peculiar to Ogoni people. It is always, it's like that. When people see a new project, there is that skepticism, there is that suspicion. Oh, will it work? Will it not work? Oh, we must show up.
Yeah, Chairman, thanks a lot. We're getting pressed for time. Just before we bring in the operations officer for the project, I just want the Honourable Minister, this is just by way of reminder. At the end of the EndSARS protest last year, when President Muhammadu Buhari directed cabinet members to return to their states to interact with stakeholders, you went back to Kaduna, and I recall that we had you on Good Morning Nigeria to narrate your experience. You did talk about the information gap, the expectation gap. It probably will be very useful now to carry over some of those experiences to some of the Ogoni youth, such as the chairman has been describing, in terms of their misplaced expectations, or misplaced expectations. That would be the best way to put it. I'm sure you, Honourable Minister, you remember our interaction with you.
Absolutely.
That's right. But just very quickly now on the technical level, just as my colleague Kirian asked, Professor Shekwolo, What timelines are we looking at? And is it possible to ramp up operations and still deliver on a good project?
Yeah, the minister has made a very clear point on that, and I'll just write on that to say, yes, we've lost about a year, maybe a year and a half, and obviously, I would say, as I said, we started actually effectively 2019. So, if the main activities of intervention is about 5 years, so you can see that the 5 years will be 2023. So 2024, thereabout, will be a good year to say, yes, by 2024, we'll have that 5 years of technical intervention.
Well, just hoping that part of the land will not be repolluted as it's being cleaned up.
Absolutely. The UNEP report makes it very clear that the responsibility or the action responsibility for ensuring that repollution does not continue is that of the communities they should help.
All right.
So that's important.
Gentlemen, that's much time can allow us. And at this point, we'd like to thank the Honorable Minister of Environment, Dr. Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar. So we thank you for coming and sharing your thoughts on this program. And Chairman, High Prep Board of Trustees, Dr. Mike Wilega, I hope I got the name correctly. We thank you again for being here this morning. Mr. Celestin Bobari, representing non-governmental organizations. It's been a pleasure hosting you this morning on Good Morning Nigeria. And Operations Officer overseeing the High Prep Project Coordination Office, Professor Philip Shekwolo. Also, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right, next will be sports.
An opportunity for him and a chance to as Paul Onuachu! Whatever he touches, it turns to gold.
Paul Onuachu was on target for the second consecutive game as the Super Eagles finished their 2021 African Cup of Nations qualifying campaign with a 3-0 home win against Lesotho on Tuesday. General's charges started the game brightly, moving the ball around with confidence. Osimhen finally broke the deadlock in the 22nd minute after latching on to a fine pass from Wilfred Ndidi.
I can count how many times he's wasted the ball in his entire career. Oh, so contested for Victor Osimhen!
The hosts dominated the early exchanges after the break, with Iwobi having a shot saved by Lesotho goalkeeper. Etebo added the second goal 5 minutes after the break, after he was set up by Osimhen. Substitute Onuachu scored Nigeria's third with a fine strike, following a well-laid pass from Henry Ekweru. The Super Eagles finished top of the Group L with 14 points from 6 games. In other news, Nigerian's Grace Owokocha in Lagos on Tuesday raced to the top of 100 meters list of top performances so far in 2021 after scorching to a new 11.9 seconds personal best at the AFN MOC Grand Prix. The time not only is the fastest so far run by a woman this term, it also ensures that she has one leg in the plane to Tokyo this July for the Olympics after smashing the 11.15 qualification standard set for the event. Okocha stormed into the national prominence last year when she ran 11.38 seconds to win 100 meters event at the AFN All-Comers Meet in Akure.
All right, so that's it for us today on Good Morning Nigeria. We appreciate your tuning in. The program returns tomorrow, same time, 7 o'clock in the morning. Until then, do take care of yourself. I am Kingsley Usadolo.
And I am Kirian Umaya. Thank you for watching, and see you again.
NTA International.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Intel 4G. Intel. Live more.
This vaccine is safe and it has been certified safe and usable by NAFTA.
Welcome to Abuja, the place that unites Nigeria.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Now, the wise ones have said that man proposes, but God disposes.
To some people, it's just a saying, but it's the truth. It's something that truly, truly happens, and I've seen it happening. Welcome. This is Thoughts for the Week with me, Cordelia Ogbe. Now, let's start off by, answering some of these questions. Do you have parents who maybe now have retired, have gone back to the village, maybe they're somewhere close to you, or your in-laws? You have? Now the next question is, how often do you reach out to them? How often do you care for them? Question. Think about that. There are people who believe that they do not owe their parents anything at all. That after all, did I beg you to call me from heaven? I was staying on my own JJ when you gave birth to me. Sending them to school, doing this and that. It's something you ought to have done for them because you fathered them or mothered them, so they have come to believe, so they have come to say. But our elders, are they very happy with this? Not so. Let me share a story with you that our elders shared with us. The story of the woodpecker. The woodpecker is a bird that digs very well into wood and all that. It digs very well. At a point, the old mother had wanted to see him. Oh, I'll see her later, I'll see her later, I'll see her later. He kept saying that, procrastinating. And then the woodpecker had this very beautiful plan that whenever the old mother dies, he was going to dig a very beautiful grave for the mother using his very powerful beak. And alas, the mother died. And the woodpecker, on that very day of the burial, had a big ball on his beak. And so, the woodpecker could not do what he had dreamt of doing, digging a big grave for the mother. Our elders say, if your relation is dancing well in an arena, but you do not have money to dole on him, your hearty cheers would do. Put simply, you may not have much to give to your parents right now, but your encouragement, talking to them, talking with them, visiting them when you can, would go a long way. It would be like you are cheering them on for all the work they've done. We've come to see that in this region, and maybe other parts of the world, I don't know about them, I'll speak about this region. You'll find that when somebody dies, an old man, woman dies, you find everybody rallying around, the children trying to raise money to do what? To go and modify their home house, or to try and build a house before they can bury their loved ones. That can be very painful, especially maybe when they were alive, you didn't do anything at all for them. Now let me share some of these quotes with you. To care for those who once cared for you is one of the highest honors. Parents, they didn't leave you when you were young, so don't leave them when they are old. Thoughts for the week. Are you one of those who believe that your parents, you do not owe them anything when they become old and all retired because they did what they had to do for you because they gave birth to you and so on? Till I come your way again, do think about these things and remember that what goes around comes around. My name is Cordelia Ogbe. Take care.
It's a lovely day for us in the studio, and also know it's a lovely day for you who is at the moment watching us. Yes, it is conversation. Yes, it is still the women's series we choose to challenge from the number first, like some people will want to call it, to the number last. It has been very interesting. I wish I could actually say we saved the best for the last, but then the truth is all of them have been very, very exceptionally good and very educating. And today, like we promised last week, we'll be looking at women in politics. Yes, it is one domain that we're seriously pushing every day. I see women pushing this way, pushing that way, trying to create relevance. And I want to believe that, like some people say it, that a country without a woman is very close to, if you want to call it, let's save that word, and quickly introduce the people with me in the house. And we have a tradition. It's every man to your mouth and every woman speak up. And I'll start with Faith. Your introduction.
Good morning. My name is Faith Odishi. Good to be here. Thank you so much for having me again.
All right. We also have an honorable member.
My name is Honorable Princess Miriam Odinaka Onoha. Good morning, Nigeria.
All right. And my lovely sister.
Natasha Putti from Kogi State, representing Abuja. Good morning, Nigerians, and thanks for having me, Elizabeth.
It's always a pleasure. And my humble self, yours sincerely, Elizabeth. I am not a politician, and I don't think I have the spirit and the strength and the energy for it, but I know one thing, I'm a very strong supporter of women. And today we will be supporting our sisters who are in it and our sisters who are still waiting, to partake, because I know that all of us have something positive for Nigeria. But for now, we're taking a break. When we come back, we hit the show.
When there's a child out there that's not getting the same that your own child is getting, the difference will tell, and there will come a time in the society where that child is going to take its pound of flesh.
Where you can actually, everything from watching a program with the child, you can start up the conversation from something on the TV and say,
For me, it's like, hurry up with this business. And the other one said, Auntie, it's not about me, it's about the guys, they're not ready to marry.
Yes. If she wants to ask something, no, I know my mother very well. In fact, the most interesting one is when I put up pictures on WhatsApp, Snapchat filters and all that, she will call me, remove that picture. There was a day I got tired of all that and I said,
It's still conversation, and here we go, here we start. And I know that, Natasha, some time ago, several years back, I asked you if you had interest in politics. What was your answer then?
I said no. And then I recall you urging me, and I said I was going to think about it, but then I had no interest whatsoever.
At the time?
I was just a social entrepreneur, and I was advocating for the revival of Ajakuta Steel Company then.
I recalled all of that. Yeah. And gradually, Natasha moved into politics.
Yes.
Let me start. How has the journey been for you?
My jump into politics was quite sudden. That was mid-2018, a few months to the general elections. And it's like I had a lot of lessons to learn. I had a lot to take in, but the people were of great support, yourself and many other women, especially around across Nigeria. And they thought to me what I needed to learn and guided me all through. And I would pretty much say I had a successful campaign and a successful election, but I was rigged out. I know I won the election as a senatorial election for Kogi Central 2019. I won that, but I was rigged. But it was a good experience, and most importantly, I realized my journey enlightened and encouraged a lot of women to go into politics. It was more like, if Natasha can do it without a godfather, by sharing her vision to the people, being quite vocal, a woman like me, then I can also do it. The good thing is I inspired a lot of women.
That's the basic thing. You inspired a lot of people, and I know that you're not giving up. But we'll not go to that place. Let's go to the sitting honorable member with us here, and get to find out how easy has it been for a woman. And I know you are from Imo State. Imo State is pretty much like other states dominated by male presence. You know, there's a lot of muscle moving and all that. How easy has it been for you as a woman? You actually got re-elected.
Well, actually, it's my first time, but my fourth attempt.
Wow.
My first shot at it was in 2011, and then 2015, and then 2019.
Wow.
And then
it's like
that wasn't, as if that wasn't enough. I had to also go through the whole hurdle in 2020, because there was a supplementary election even in that 2019 election. And that was the second time I thought I was being rigged out. And that 2019, it was very glaring, because you couldn't have collated results in an election that was my third. And even if I was nothing, I would have built a little bit of momentum to get me my own polling unit. And then the final collated results, I saw my opponents winning all the votes in my polling unit, while I had zero. Zero.
Are you serious?
Zero at the point of collation at the ward. So I at first I felt
in
like
in
my own polling unit.
It's like in your own kitchen.
Yes. I felt like let it be like the other ones, but I'm like, even in the spirit world, they will tell you at least spare the person. Like a child comes running to you and runs to the mother, runs into her house. You don't chase the same child to hit her or him, because the person has got to a safe haven. I thought that my own polling unit, as a candidate, a formidable one at that, would have been spared in the looting or of the votes. But when that was not done, I felt that was insensitive, and I felt it was particularly done because I was a woman. And in his word, he would say a mere woman who would bend down to urinate is not who we will send. Like in my place, a woman, no. Not the one we send to Abuja. For God's sakes, I've been living in Abuja for God knows how long. So you're not sending me. I stand a better chance to do it. So breaking that jinx, actually, as the first woman to be elected into that federal constituency, for me, was giving hope to more women, and that has also given room to more women indicating interest in running for offices, and thanks to my governor, who is also supportive, His Excellency Hope Uzodinma, in encouraging women. He actually played a tangible role in my election. So good news is that I persevered, and I pushed through that injustice at the court, and the election was finally annulled. And annulled at a time when the sitting governor was PDP and I am of the APC. So everyone was like, how are you going to muscle this one? The same guy is PDP, his governor is here, and you are of the APC. How will you do it now? Because I felt and I knew my votes were not counted. In over 34 polling units, including mine, in my own polling unit where I scored 0. At least I voted.
This thing is still funny. You mean your sisters didn't vote? Your brothers didn't vote?
No, myself.
Even your own vote. Where did your vote go?
I gave it to my opponent.
Oh my God.
So when I pushed and I felt that like my votes were omitted, it was obvious. If you added them, I was hoping to be declared winner. But I also commend the judiciary, who had gone through it and felt that no, the best thing at the point was to order a rerun, and there was a fresh election in all the 346 polling units of my federal constituency, making it now about the 4th or 5th time for the same election. So that held, and it's good never to give up, even when you're faced with a lot of odds. When the odds don't favor you, just still keep pushing. The elections came, but one thing that would make me know and say that God really wanted to do something at that time, and to Him be all the glory. A month to my election, my sitting senator was of the APC also, the late Senator Ben Owajimogo. But you know what? He passed a month to my election. And he was more like my backbone. I was one of his senior legislative aides. So him being part of those sponsoring me to run was more like my backbone. But when he passed, everywhere my opponents were like, you might as well just resign. Governor is PDP. Your only senator who is APC is gone. But you know what? I kept pushing. And 3 weeks to my election, Senator Hope Uzodinma won his mandate back again at the court. So it was back on the track. And that was 2 weeks to my election. All the fears had reduced, and then the popularity kept increasing and increasing, and everybody now said, you know what, she has pushed too much. So those little pushes you've been making, even at the times when you lost, they actually count. Like they say, every prayer goes to your prayer bank and is working.
Yes, it goes to the prayer bank. And women didn't start pushing with election. We started pushing right from the labor room. And for every push, there's a result. And usually beautiful one, boy or girl. But I'm still wondering, maybe Faith, you are a very strong voice when it comes to advocacy for women. What is it that is actually pulling us back?
I think culture has a lot to do with that, and the orientation, the training of the girl child, the community. I keep saying the way we receive, the reception we give to the girl child when she's born into the community. Where I come from, they describe the girl child as a soul. So when you give birth to a girl child and they're coming to say, oh, she has given birth, they're asking you, what's the sex of the child? And if the person says, you're just giving birth to a soul, onya, something like that, that means you have given birth to a girl child. So, but if you have given birth, a wound, why? You know, because of the way the vagina of the girl child is made. So she's described, the wound is used to describe the birth of a girl child. But when you say you have given birth to a full current, it means that you have given birth to a male child. So usually the fanfare that heralds the birth of a male child is different from the fanfare that heralds the birth of a female child. And that's why you have the pressure on women in homes where they don't have male children. They keep saying, you don't have a hold in this family, you don't have a say. But we have been seeing people like Okonjo Iweala, Zatasha, Princess, and co. People who are taking the family names, you know, holding it even higher than the male children. So that whole narrative is changing, but it will take a lot of time because it's ingrained in our culture, you know. So that's one thing. And as soon as the child is bettered, the training, the upbringing, the orientation that you give to the child, the man is trained to be the head. They forget there's a neck that needs to rotate that head to support the head.
Women
to move.
are head of families as well. I'm the head of my family.
Exactly. You understand that. So the boy is told that, oh, you know, you have to take care of your sisters. And then if you have a younger sister that is too strong, no, you don't have to be that strong. You have to rely on your brother. You know, you get married off someday. The woman is not supposed to be held. So right from the birth, the role of the girl child is put out, and leadership is not part of that. But you see, people say that leadership, the trait of leadership is inborn. But I keep telling people that it is the women, just like you said, that push. It is during that time of pushing that you take the part of leadership you have as a woman and you put to whatever child you give, whether a male child or a female child. So it is part of what you have, because you really cannot give what you don't have. If you have leaders today, women started being leaders. It's part of the inborn trait, the leadership trait in our genes that we have passed on to our children. So when you do whatever analysis, whatever results or lab tests that you want to do for a child, you're looking at the DNA of the mother, you're looking at the DNA of the father. So most times the character of a child is built on the foundation from the character of the mother. So if you have leaders, it means that the mother has leadership traits in her that she has passed on to that child. So we need to begin to change all of that. Then when you now get into society, like I keep telling people, the Bible, for instance, for those of us who are Christians, says the woman is a weaker sex, but then the Bible says the woman is a helpmate or a support to the man. I am a civil engineer, and I keep telling people, if you have a defective part of a structure, the only way to support that structure is to build another material of a stronger tensile strength to support that structure.
Repeat that stronger. That's stronger.
Yes, of a stronger tensile strength.
Because
What
God
it
saw
means-
the man was weak.
Yeah,
And
yes,
then made a stronger woman.
Exactly, made a stronger woman and out of bone. Now, because we don't want to go through all of that, I keep telling you, when you analyze it, you can only support that which you are stronger than. If you try to support that is stronger than you, to crush you. That's the simplest way to have it. So if the biblical injunction says the woman is a helpmate, is a support, it means that the woman has been made of a stronger material to support, so that there will be better results out there. So, so for me, I think it's about society being afraid of what the woman can bring out. If a woman is multitasking, if a woman is a leader, it means she can be a good mother, she can be a good leader, she can be a good business entrepreneur. She's good everywhere. The woman is the only person you can say is a jack of all trades and master of all. So society becomes afraid when you see strong women, and that's why you keep having. Have you ever had even in offices where they say Iron Man? It's always Iron Lady. It's always Iron Lady, because the woman is delivering. And so people are jilty that this person that is supposed to be shedding tears, that is supposed to be crying, this person that cannot pee in a bottle, this person that cannot do this, how come, where is she bringing all of these things from? So people now begin to look at negative things to bring you down, to demoralize you, and make you not to bring out your full potential. But the fact of the matter is that perseverance is there. Women have to come out. Women, even if you fail, go. Because by failing, you are getting experience. Failing does not mean that you fail and you fail out. Failing means that you continuously, move on there. And, when we have more women, because of the way we are made, we are thinking about the other people. With a woman, no, there's no woman, whether good or bad, there's no woman that thinks of herself alone. She's always thinking of, even if she doesn't have children, she's always thinking of the good of other people. And that's what leadership is about, thinking of the good of other people. And when you are in governance, it's about welfare of the people. And it is women who already have that within their DNA to think of other people, that can think of how society can develop, sustain that society, so that the other person coming can take over that.
Thinking about you were going to add something?
Yeah, of course. Talking about why we found ourselves in such a state where women are relegated to the back, and I would latch that a lot on the narratives being put down historically, which already has formed part of our history. And I would like to use the president's hometown, Daura, as an example. If you Google, or anyone who's watching now, Google Daura on Wikipedia, or the emirs of Daura, you will see the first emir being listed in the 18th century, which is 17-something. And you begin to wonder, wasn't Daura as a town in existence way before that? But deliberately it was cut off, because Daura as it is was created by a female emir, Daurama. It's actually her name that was used. And after that, you had about 6 other female emirs, which were extremely strong and powerful. But history at some time became unfavorable because it was shaped by men. And that's where we talk about societal influence in relegating women. Talk about their laughing. We have had female laughings of Oyo. We've had Queen Amina. Even talk about Benin. We had the Queen Idia, who fought the Benin Empire for her son. It wasn't her son who created the empire. It was a woman, Queen Idia. Then come to Kogi State, we have the Igala. The first Atta of Igala was a woman. And that is why till today, in honor of her, the Atta always pierces his earrings. So women...
the man pierces
Yes,
his ears.
once you're an Atta, you have to pierce your
You have
earring.
to pierce.
Your ear and wear an earring in honor of the first Atta that was a woman.
I'm
so
sure
when
they
you
will
look at
enjoy it,
this-
because sometimes men like to do all we do.
Of course. Okay. So now, when you talk about the injustice that female gender faces in Nigeria, it's not just particular to Nigeria, but Africa at large. And I'm glad to know that many other African countries have picked up their belts, like Rwanda now, that has very strong affirmative policy, whereby they actually have more women in politics than men. And we have Namibia and its zebra policy as well. And we hope that Nigeria in the nearest future will be able to go back in time, ask the right questions. Like I'm challenging our viewers today. The president's hometown itself, Daurama, that was created by a woman and had more female rulers than any other town or city in Nigeria today. Why is it that Wikipedia only recognizes and registers the male leaders.
Okay.
Let's ask the right questions, and maybe from there we'll be able to inspire women who have many more books, novels, even if it's comics books for our younger girls, so that from an early age, you won't just put your daughter in school to access the same education a man does and a bohab male colleague does, achieves. And when she gets up the ladder in society, she begins to see the glass ceiling that, oh, you know what, you're a woman, you can't attain this. And then she begins to question. But when I was in school, I was exposed to the same government subjects, English, literature, social studies. Why? These books did not tell me that only a man is allowed to achieve this. So you then don't have heartbroken women who are just relegated to become housewives. You know, so I believe a lot of it has to do with our education, to back up the culture, changing the narratives, and of course encouraging more women to keep stirring the tides.
Okay. You know, when you said, when you tried to take us down memory lane, you know, going back to history of what women had done in the past, I was also thinking, because I still read a bit of history since I was a history student, and the times the women ruled, there was a lot of sanity, there was a lot of peace, much more than we have today. And I take it back to the sitting honorable here with us to get to find out, you're not too many of you in there. I think about 15 out of 13, right? Okay. Out of a whole 300 and, okay. So, and the Senate is 7? Yes. Out of 109. That's really, really poor. Now, what are we doing, you know, to ensure that, I may not be asking for 50% of the seats, but at least if you can get up to 100 women. Like you said, she also said, your victory is an encouragement to other women. What are we doing to ensure that we have more? Because the more, the merrier.
Well, I still go back again to talking about the origin of why the mentality is not right, is not balanced for women to play actively in politics, like our societal and cultural inhibitions. Back home, right from the house, I think the orientation and reorientation needs to reverberate. Definitely. We need to resound it in the minds of the girl child that you're not just born to be in the kitchen. You see, most
I don't like kitchen
will
work.
even say it to you. Why are you playing out there all the time with the... Growing up, I used to walk around with the boys. In fact, I preferred hanging out when they climb the trees.
I'll climb trees too. I climb trees, I wash cars.
You know, and then we played, and we played football together. They would keep me at the post, and you see me at the, you know, I didn't see myself different from them. And if we went to school during classes, I wanted to beat the men. I had this winning mentality. I needed to be ahead. Even when I came first in class, I would look at the grades and like, why am I getting 92?
And the
my
boy is
mom
getting 90.
would be rejoicing and happy.
Oh,
they are calling my name. Oh, Odinakachi. Oh, she has come first again. And she's, why are you not smiling? Oh, I'm like, Ma, this few marks they took away. Why?
They took it away actually.
What happened? But I got 10 over this, 10 over. Why am I having that? Why not 100? So I think we need to re-inject that winning mentality into the girl child, because there's a lot of obstacles, environmentally, societally, and everything. So you need to tell our girls to always have the mentality of walking against and swimming against the current, against the tides. If that is done, there is no profession that is cut out for ladies. There is no chore, there is no hobby that is for... I'm an estate surveyor and valuer. I mean, it's not saying that it's more difficult than fashion designing. Men do a lot projects and do well also in fashion designing, cooking and baking. Men have almost overtaken it. So I think women should not sit lay back and feel that these chores are known for us, because as we are encroaching, they are also making serious incursion and almost dominating those chores and professions that we would think were ours. So having said that, breaking the limits, breaking closing the gap, and attaining our rightful place in societal politics. I'd like us to understand that there's no better person to tell our stories than ourselves. I am a woman. I am a mother. I've been a housewife. I know what it is, the role you play. And I've been a successful business entrepreneur. In fact, right from graduation from Unilag, I've always run my businesses until I got into the House of Reps. So women, if you develop that tensile strength you have in you, you can conquer. So I don't see why out of a house of 360, we only have 13 slots.
Oh, I feel like
I tell
covering my
you
face.
that it takes you 4 more times what it takes your male counterpart to be in the house to win any election. It's strong, it's tougher, it's harder, because I see generally the society even accepts your male counterpart before you come. Before you start, they already have 40 marks ahead of you. Before you start, on your marks, they're already 40. Because people are already looking at you. This one, you are wearing the same canvas you are wearing. For maybe you are even, your own is even engrafted with a JJ or Kocha. They are looking at you. How is she going to play?
Dear Princess, may I ask you a question?
Yes, dear.
You are a sitting member of the House
Yes.
of Reps. You are a lawmaker.
Yes.
And you've always, everyone knows about the 35% affirmative action, which is supposed to be a set of policies and rules that will promote the participation
women inclusion
of exactly.
Yes.
I'm wondering, what
are you
doing? The women,
to enforce that?
Even if you just have only 5 of you, maybe in the House of Reps, and maybe if it's just 2 or 1 senator.
What we can do to ensure
What
that
have
that
you
is
done?
upheld and
Exactly.
done. Well, I was coming to that. The 35% affirmative action is a policy, is a document, is a work plan. And like I always say to everybody, we don't lack laws in Nigeria.
Definitely.
What we lack is implementation. The society, our culture, like what we have said, who are the people who will do the voting? Who are the people who will make the decision? It's still the same society. It's not people from abroad or Beijing. It's we among us, like the American Constitution says, we, the people. It's we that will make that law for ourselves, for the people, by the people, with the people. So if the people don't even have the mindset to receive and implement what is in the document, the people whose benefit the same document is being made, do you know some women will actually come to you and tell you, now you have young children you are training, this money that you want to see, you every time you are working, you are putting back in politics. Now, see, this thing is not working, it's not going to work.
Are you serious?
People cannot send the woman. They have said it. So
much.
even among yourself. So back to the 35% affirmative action. It's an action, it's in place, it's workable, and I will tell you, part of the roadmap to achieving that policy.
I was going to ask, what
be,
exactly? Just mention one of the policies. Just mention one.
Would be the political parties, for instance. Yeah. You don't stand as an independent candidate right now. Well, I'm a member of the electoral committee on INEC also, and we've embarked on series of amendments to make it more inclusive and gender friendly for women participation in politics. But then your political party still has to sponsor you, and there is no, the only thing for now I know that has been done is to reduce the cost of nomination, which is also one of a bill I sponsored in the House, reducing the cost of electioneering, starting with the nomination forms. So all of those are
to make it very easy for women to assess.
Financially, how equipped are the women to compete in a world that is already male-dominated? Now they've given us 50% cuts in the forms, but that does not reduce the cost of consultation, does not reduce the political tourism, because you visit every polling unit, every ward, every local government. And I say it to us, sometimes what we read in the books is not what you see in the field. It's entirely different. You visit the religious groups, the social sects, the traditional rulers, And in this part of the world, we are not known by going to say you just want to come and greet. Like Oyibo man will pop in. I was just passing by and I said to stop by. No. You have to go and get a drink. And you look at the caliber and category of persons. You will not go there and you're carrying... There are some places you won't go to malt with a carton of malt. You go with quality choice wine. And sometimes hot drink.
I had to go, but dear Honorable, you're still missing a point. If you take a look at the affirmative policies that were put in place by countries that work, if you ask in Nigeria now what is one, I can't even tell you this is an affirmative, this is one policy that is put. Apart from reducing... No, hold on, let me say this. One of them. If you reduce costs, how much is a form? I mean, you and I know what it costs. For my senatorial election, I spent nothing less than 500 million. What is that? No, for the election. So what is that compared? Let me tell you what Rwanda and some of these countries have done. Try to promote a rotationary gender alone ballot.
There's even a law. Let me get this. That is supposed to allocate some seats, some slots.
But how will you fill this slot? That's what we're getting to.
That's the point I'm saying. You're not listening. How many men, how many women are there in the house to support that bill to even see the light of the day? That thing was put to vote. It was put to decision.
Yeah, exactly.
And when it was read on the floor of the house, you could see the roar. We are giving you people a small opportunity now. This woman will come and overtake us. One day you tell me to vacate my own seat. That was an honorable member was quoted. I saw. You needed to see the agitation on that. So I think, for me, really, it's not about reading through what applied to you, Rwanda might not really apply to us. I think it's for us to fashion out our own local strategy at achieving this. And for me, despite what you see, it's not something of grammar or book or law. It's something of following it like our tradition permits. In my own case, what I used was the snail approach. My mother will say that no matter how thorny a path is, the snail will glide through it with her smooth tongue. I went into my campaign, and in fact, I'm now known to wear normal 2,000, 2,500, 1,500, 1,000 Ankara. I don't wear makeups. In my place, right, I felt that women needed me, and they had always been the backbone of my support. So I didn't need to look so flashy to come through them. I needed to wear something that I could come to your house and crawl on the floor, sit with you in the marketplace, and not look too higher or bigger than you. Because you see, our people are too judgmental.
Yes.
Oh, she's all this, she's already this, she's all this. So our society just needs you to, and the men need, not a little bit, a lot, so much of massage. You don't reply so much to men. You don't reply so much to their criticism. You don't follow what they say about you. Every woman in politics is tagged a prostitute.
Wow.
Every woman in politics that you are even married and you don't have a child is a campaign strategy against you. That one that cannot even make a baby. That one cannot even keep her home. That one that is not even married. So that you are of a marriageable age and you are not married is a political minus. How is that your fault, for God's sakes?
Because even the Bible says you will find out a wife. It's not you will find out a husband, right?
Yes. So you need to go through all these men. I went to them on my knees. And even till today, I don't greet any of my leaders standing. I kneel down. My leader, no, don't shake me or tap me at the back. Sometimes, even when you know that we are equal, that is for my own society. And I believe the most part of Nigerians like it when a woman presents herself to be a humble. In your mind, they want you to look that, yes, you are lower. Take it like that. So that way I was able to enter, go in, this one, meet with all of them. All the group say, she's very humble. Hey, she's very simple day because this thing, hey, I have been pushing and pushing. You people just put me. Till today, when I come and they say they are calling leadership meet, I say, you people know I'm not a leader. You have been able to carry me up. Please continue to keep me there. And for those who don't think I'm doing enough, understand that I've just
What
been
if
there.
when your people take you up, you win the election and the institutions take it away from you? There's the INEC, there's the police, there's the judiciary as well. I mean, all good that you got your victory, your election was cancelled. But I tell you, I personally know what went through during my senatorial election. And for my governorship, I was even disqualified and not allowed to campaign for 2 months while the APC and PDP candidates. Injustice was there right from time.
That's another issue. That's another issue.
Let's react to our audience a little bit
For a woman to emerge as a leader, it's not about getting the votes. I was told that out of 100%, being popular, being loved, being admired is just 30%.
Doesn't guarantee. Yes.
It's just 30%.
Yes.
So whether you crawl on your knees, you as humble, you put on rags, you speak the finest language, that's 30%.
There's really a background. There's really a background.
But you have to win
independence of the institutions. That's another 30%. Are they fair enough? We all know that in my own time, I mean, good luck to you. The institutions I'm talking about, INEC itself, the police and all that, were outrightly against me and in supportive of the APC candidate.
But not because you're a woman.
I'm trying to say,
not because you're a woman. That applies to all.
But let me say this again. That is what I'm talking about, the affirmative action. Madam,
but
hold on.
affirmative action will not change.
In a place,
no,
it will.
It will not change. INEC, it will not change
there are
police.
countries. No, hold on. If you're talking about bringing out a woman, whether it's myself, supposing 3 of us are from the same senatorial district, and there is an affirmative action in place that for every state that are allowed to bring 3 senators, 1 must be a woman. The 3 constituencies or districts will meet and rotate. For this election, you, APC, PDP, and all parties will field only women. So that means all 3 of us, whether I'm SDP, APC, PDP, we are going to contest among ourselves. The men in that place will know that they are stepping down this year. That's the affirmative action I'm talking about. Next year, it's going to go to the Eastern Senatorial District, while the men and women and others can still contest. You have to have it spelled out that until this happens, and it will also be, whether it's for the governorship, the same law will apply.
Well,
so until that happens, if you put me to compete with a man, I'm a feminist, but I don't push for equality. I push for equity. Because I believe everybody, as a woman, there are areas I'm stronger than a man, and there are areas a man is stronger than me. You asked the question then, that why is it that there's a trend for, in countries or areas where there are women leaders, the economy is more stable, the society is more peaceful and progressive. What is it? That's because the woman has a higher level of emotional and mental intelligence, and by nature we are born to be nurturers of society and home. So that's why it's easier for a woman, before she makes any decision, she thinks about the consequence, A, B, C. She builds scenarios in her head, and she's more cautious than a man who just acts as if it's a game. So that's why. So, and that, if you put me, no matter, even if you give me £1 billion to contest, and you put another man, she talked about the campaigning. You have to tour around all your wards. You have to move around, whether in your period, whatever you are going through, you just have to. And it takes a lot of toll on you, because to be a leader, you don't need to. It's not the muscle of the mind. It's not the muscle of the heart that used to lead the people. It's the mind and the heart.
Yes.
So you don't have to tell me to climb a tree or climb a mountain or be on the road 20 hours out of 24 and not expect me to have a down toll as a woman.
Exactly.
But challenge me intellectually.
All right, so we're going to let Faith come in on her this. But there's somebody who wants to react to something. I agree with my sister. She said what my sister said. Odina Kachuku, just look at the name just look at her name and keep pushing. Eyes of the Lord is watching. Thanks, Solo Fred from, I didn't quite understand, but I think she's talking about you. That your name resounds with okay.
My name means it's in the hand of God.
Okay, it's in the hand of God.
Yes.
Okay. So your victory came actually from God. All right. Okay. So let's say.
I was going to say that women's participation in politics, there's a background to all of that. When electioneering started in Nigeria, only men who earned about £100 were qualified to vote in Nigeria. So that narrative continued. No woman was qualified to vote until a certain time. You now had in the southern region of Nigeria, women started voting. But it was in 1979 that women in the north actually voted for the first time. That's the history. So when you have excluded women from that process, the process of electioneering, voting, they were not part of it. It was just the men's thing to do. So now the mentality for the men is, oh, we're just allowing you, we're doing you a favor to be part of this process. And if somebody...
In Japan, did you read that policy that came up in Japan last month, that women will not, henceforth, it was a boardroom law all over Japan, that women won't be allowed to participate if they keep quiet, if they promise to be quiet in board meetings. That's in Japan recently.
The truth of the matter is, when you already know that you're only allowed to participate because there's an outcry that there should be inclusion, what you should do is come there and sit to be part of that process. It's still a learning process, a learning thing for women. It's not like women can come in today and you will have 100%. I tell you, even if we have that affirmative action working, if we have it working right now, some women will still push back on it. But it's important to have it because already we have a policy. The gender policy is 35% elective and appointive positions. And because we are so also not trying to challenge the status quo, nobody has ever gone to court. Nobody has ever gone to court to say that you have given appointments and you do not have up to 35% women appointed. Let's take it to the court and challenge it, and let's see what happens. You know, on International Women's Day, I was in a meeting with Senator Olujimi, that presented the Equal Opportunities Bill. And I tell you, some of the things that the honorable members are querying in that law are things that will get you outraged.
I'm telling you.
Are things that will get you outraged. And up till now, Nigerian women, we have not thought of what about women did. So that we can go and do that. No, it took women, Nigerian women, to fight for laws, tax laws to be changed for their husbands, not really for themselves. It's not even until recently that we started talking about the tax laws in our civil service. If you are a woman and you are a man, we have a national population policy. The tax rebate to be given to the man because the man is assumed to be the father of the children. Meanwhile, the woman who gave birth to those 4 children will have to pay her taxes. So these are the things that we keep saying, and we are so quiet about that. And we're just talking about all of these leadership things. Even in the civil service, when it is the turn of a woman to become either a PS or a director, you see them fighting. Politics will start. We need to go back and learn the ropes. What is it that these men are doing that they keep them? You see somebody, a senator, have been there for like 20 years. Does it mean you don't have people in that constituency anymore? I know it happens. People say, oh, this is what is happening. It happens in the US too. Like, for instance, I don't think you can think of Nigeria where if somebody had been president and the wife comes to run for presidency, they will kill that family or even kill the woman. They will kill the woman. So we need to, let's go back. One, I believe in a lot of things that we do, we need to put it into our culture.
All right, so let's quickly react to our audience and take a little bit of messages before we continue. Somebody says,
we do like a retainership in continuation with the policies? Can we start by saying offices where you have women already occupying, let's start by giving them an automatic ticket to come back. Yeah. Because I keep going back to that ticket. If you are not, there are sometimes you run your elections. Some women came back, haven't run and won their elections. You win primaries, they cancel you until you keep. At least I can mention Gimba, honorable. So it's for us to start with that, and then you cannot build this policy without the critical stakeholders. I tell you, in this system, the governors play a lot of roles. Yes. You will agree with me.
It's true. Yeah. They're the heads of the political parties at their state level.
Heads of politics. So we need to start leading advocacies to meet with them and beg.
Madam, power is not given, it is taken. I was expecting you to say you are going to rally your members and the senators and block the National Assembly and let other women support you. National Assembly will not open
after NSAS, we still came back to the table. There is no time, there is a crossfire, that there is still not a negotiation on the table. After wars, and protest and fight, you still come back to the table. I like results.
Dialogue.
Dialogue. So it's advocacy. Well, you lead advocacy. You see, developed countries will advocate for any project by leading strong voices.
Yes.
You do so much by speaking. Strong voices, advocacy really works. If you get these people to buy in and they sign on, you have results.
I think
there are state governors that have even started.
Because it's been in the House since 2010. The bill has been in the House since 2010. They always throw it out and bring it back. So this year makes it 11 years that we have the Equal Opportunities Bill at the House. We understand that the Violence Against Persons Bill Act is now an act. States need to put that. But we need to rally voices. I need to have Natasha, pushing women. The Honorable is in the House. The truth of the matter is this.
Few.
They're very few. They need our support from outside. They need our support from outside.
Let me tell you something, madam. I'm giving you my words now on national television. If your women, the House of Reps, align together with the females we have in the Senate, and irrespective of the numbers you are at power, like we don't care that the men are trampled over you in numbers, you'll stand and say the National Assembly is not going to sit until we push this affirmative law. And you will watch what I myself will do, and other women I trust will stand. We're not going to fight. When you're trying to speak on the street to protest, doesn't mean you're going to come with stones and all. No. But there's a way we're going to get the right attention of the media.
But that
and then we're going to get it
on.
Advocacy.
Like
Madam, there are different kinds of advocacy.
There are
different ways you make things happen.
Let me tell you, Mama, the Nigeria is operating on a tripod. Right? Separation of powers.
I speak so much.
Executive, legislature, and the judiciary. And there is no law that will make one, including citizens' right, to stop the performance of any of these arms. So even if 1 million people lead protests and come to National Assembly, it will not stop National Assembly from going through the procedures, which is a constitutional duty and right. So that's why I'm telling you.
In the same Nigeria, we have seen some bills being quickly passed within 3 weeks, like when we were trying to curtail the social media.
There are normal ways to attaining your rights. You can get your rights achieved by lobbying, advocacies, the same thing. So, and one of those, like I said also, is you see these traditional rulers you have they might not come out to vote, but they play a lot of role in shaping and influencing and molding societal opinion on who goes. You see religious, you see churches, you see mosques, some Catholic church or what, a priest will not need to say vote for so person, but he knows how to coin his sermon to direct you to go this way. So we can start all those Christian CWOs, CMOs, all those to come strongly. And I tell you that the narratives are changing. And when you are winning, when you are doing well, you only need to identify areas where you have problems. Because there was a time when we had more women in the house.
Yes.
Why are they not coming back?
It keeps dwindling.
Why are they not coming back? That's what we are saying. If their policy is there to retain those seats for women, so that when they want to come back, it's a lot easier. At least until she comes twice. If she comes twice and she's underperforming, then we can know and replace her with another woman who promises to perform. That one woman didn't do well. It's not enough to say put women there now. They always say that one woman was in the council. What did she do? And I say, but a man was governor, a man was deputy, a man was speaker, a man had been that council chairman for 10 years. Why will you now say one woman will spoil the
challenge?
For me, I would challenge.
And what does it mean to choose to challenge a policy or a law, a bill you've been trying to pass for the past 10 years? If you are asked today to choose to challenge your men in the National Assembly, what would you do differently? Go back to the same dialogue.
So before she gets that question answered, let's quickly talk with our audience. Good morning, I'm Jafar from Adamawa State. It is forbidden in our culture and religion for women to govern the people. All right, that is your own Adamawa State people. Are you there? That's coming from your state. Good morning, my name is Ikechukwu Gabriel. I'm very happy to say that I am proud of my 4 lovely children, all of them are girls, and every child is important. I am happy for you too. Thank you very much. You don't know the blessing you have in your house. Good morning, I'm a lady, and I want to pursue her. I'm a lady that wants to pursue her dream, but this same gender equality. Me being a girl child has really been a stumbling block. But I keep on pressing. Please, ma, I need your help. I need a backbone to pursue my career. You didn't quite state what the career is here, but I hope that what we are doing today will encourage you, to move on with it. Honorable Odinaka, you have to prove to your people that, okay, you women can change the world. Carry on your people along. I stand for you, ma. You didn't write your name, but she's listening and she will ensure that she proves it. We hear of rights of education for a girl child. We see a lot of children hawking, girl child hawking and begging on the streets of Abuja, and nobody has done anything to arrest this. This is from Ngozi. Okay, so we should do more of implementation. Ngozi, you didn't write your surname or where you're writing from. The woman there, Natasha Poti, was victimized in her state during her campaign. We are from the same state, so we know she is saying the truth. Yusuf Nasiru. Okay, so let's read one or two more before we finally say bye-bye. My name is Promise Obodo. I really want to commend Honorable Odinaka Chief for her loyalty, humility. Other women should learn from her and grow in politics, okay? These must be people who have known you one-on-one. Good day, ladies. Very proud of you all. Question is, what will you do if your spouse is not supporting your political ambition?
Well, there's something you said that one of the writers said about their culture. Not supporting
That's women. Jaffa from Adamawa State.
In my place, people, is it true? Do you know that in my place, in Igbo land, kola, the kola nut is very significant. We don't farm it, but we almost worship it. Women buy it, women sell it. But when it comes to gatherings, a woman does not see kola.
But I can carry it.
Yes, well, there was this obstacle that came when a strong woman was contesting. When I'm contesting, the first time I came, and it was like making ridicule of me, and like, who will carry the? You can't. And I'm like, well, even if it means having an SA on kola affairs, I would do it in a very jovial and and it was no longer a stigma. So to my friend who made that comment, don't let anything society brings weigh you down. Me, I play over everything. I make fun of everything, but I'm passing a strong message that I say I wash the kola, I buy it, I even present it to the man to give to public. But when they are doing the libation or the kola presentation and say, oh, brother, you have seen it, they will show it to everybody, but not me, even as a sitting rep member. So when you are bringing the kola, I will just turn my face. You are showing your people around. So it's not, those things don't mean a thing. The
my director is really on my neck. He says we gotta go. And I know Natasha is warming up to say more. We'll pick you on a part 2 of this because there's a whole lot coming up. For now, we'll just say thank you. I know that women, we have the population according to census. And I'm still wondering, with the number we have, why are we not representing the same number in leadership, in politics? We know we're going to get there with time, and while we are pondering on that, let's stay on to NTA. My name is Elizabeth, and I want to say thank you to all of you.
Thanks.
Lovely conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Better days for women. We are here. We're taking over.
Yes.
It's true. It's true.
President Buhari arrives in London for routine medical checkup.
It's Easter Monday, national holiday, so then, using that period to do his regular medical checkup.
Federal government reiterates commitment towards boosting micro, small and medium enterprises. Minister of Interior inaugurates Passport Express Processing Center in Abuja.
We overvalue added service to all Nigerians.
National Council of Traditional Rulers expresses commitment to the sanctity of a nation's unity, peace and security. Hello, a warm welcome to Venice 10 on NTA News 24. We're reaching you live from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Musbah and Wahab. President Muhammadu Buhari is now in London, the British capital. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that while in the UK, the president is expected to undergo a routine medical checkup. Explaining the president's medical trip, presidential spokespersons Femi Adesina and Garba Shehu reassure Nigerians that there is nothing to fear about.
There is nobody who can say he is 100% healthy. If there's anybody like that, he should stand up to be counted. Somebody who says, I don't need checkup, I don't need anybody to look at my health, I am perfect from head to toe. That person should then stand up to be counted. So if our president at 78 is going for medical checks, I think there's nothing out of the ordinary in that.
The president is looking at the window of opportunity that has opened with the Easter holiday. It's a much relaxed period for everyone. Good Friday, Easter Monday, national holiday. So then, using that period to do his regular medical checkup. This is something he has done for so many years, even before he came to office.
President Muhammadu Buhari is due back in the country in the second week of next month. Meanwhile, before leaving the country, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the nation's armed forces and other security services to spare no efforts at bringing to an end the nefarious activities of bandits and kidnappers undermining national security and stability. He said those collaborating with a criminal element to sabotage government efforts at securing the country must also be fished out and dealt with decisively. This was at an emergency meeting he convened with the service chiefs and heads of other security and intelligence communities on the state of insecurity in the country. Adamu Sambo has the reports.
The emergency meeting with the service chiefs and heads of other security agencies was summoned by President Muhammadu Buhari in response to the worrisome challenges of security in parts of the country. He described as unacceptable the prevailing situation where bandits and kidnappers continue to have a field day, dictating the pace and setting the tone in the fight against crime and criminality. The National Security Advisor, Babagana Munguno, told newsmen that the president did not mince words in giving marching orders to the security chiefs.
Mr. President has made it very, very clear to both the intelligence and operational elements that their first assignment will be to identify the leaders of these bandits and kidnappers and take them out in order to restore confidence in those areas.
President Buhari was also unequivocal in his message to those collaborating with criminal elements to sabotage the government and destabilize the polity for reasons best known to them.
This is the directive from the president. I am to send a warning to those people who are behaving in a manner that portends a lot of danger to innocent lives. Those people who think they have some kind of authority, who are engaging in all kinds of hocus pocus, in all kinds of jiggery pokery or skullduggery, those people will be brought down to their knees. It is extremely important for these people. I'm sending out a message to them. Anybody who thinks he can continue to pull whatever resources he has at his disposal to frustrate the efforts of the central government in bringing about peace and security will have himself to blame.
During the meeting, comprehensive reports submitted by the Chief of Defense Staff and the service chiefs were analyzed with the assurance by the President that critical areas of need will be addressed.
Mr. President is very eager and anxious to see what we're doing, and I'm sure that you will attest to the fact that the heightening operational engagement has yielded positive results. Generally, you find that the situation, when it's getting to the end, it appears that the heat is more. And not until the heat is more before it begins to get cool. We're on course.
The meeting noted with satisfaction the operational visits by the new service chiefs to the theater of operations to boost the morale of their troops. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Right, after several postponements occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic, the 20th National Sport Festival, Edo 2021, is expected to come alive in a matter of days. Now, we'll be having the Deputy Governor of the state to shed more light on that, and our correspondent, Ogo Chukwuka Ona, is in our Benin studio to take on the Deputy Governor. Ogo Chukwuka, hope the hearts of the nation is beating very normally.
Yes, exactly. It's beating very hard, just like as the motto says, the heartbeat of the nation. Everything is in course. Every arrangement is being taken care of. And just yesterday, the Deputy Governor led members of the local organizing committee on an inspection tour of facilities. All right, let's hear more from him, LOC Chairman, sir. And so let's hear more from you. How is everything on now?
Yeah, we thank God that the game will finally be on from the 2nd of April on Friday to 14th of April. And like we have always said, we are ready. In terms of facility, we are ready. And we are started unveiling the competition equipment. They are fixing them all over the venues where these games will be hosted. So yesterday I went around to just check. Tomorrow I'm going around to conclude our inspection to make sure that this evening, 12 midnight today is the deadline for hosting of all the competition equipment. So by tomorrow morning again, I'm going around to check that everything is fine. So we are ready, and the only thing that is left is the alert from federal government. We are still waiting for the alert.
Okay, but what about the rumors going around yesterday? What's the latest? Are you debunking it or?
Yeah, I called the Minister of Youth and Sport, my friend and brother, Sunday Dare, and the Permanent Secretary to confirm if the rumor is true. And he said he doesn't have his authority and that he never released any statement and there's no such thing. And for us, it was a kind of relief because when I heard the rumor, I was like, thank God that, because did you know what it takes to get our fans not to go to stadium and the games are holding in their own facility? It's always a nightmare to get our people not to go to the stadium.
Okay, so in essence, are you saying there are going to be spectators even with the COVID safety guidelines?
There's not going to be spectators. We are still working on what is right and what is good. We are working with PTF. Don't forget, PTF is the one setting the tone as far as the COVID-19 protocols are concerned. So we are working with them to see whether what we are seeing now in other games will happen. But for now, we have made provision to work with NTA and other media, social media, all to make sure we bring these games live to their doorstep so that if fans are not allowed at the end, or certain number of fans are allowed, the majority of them that will be home can watch it live. So we are putting all these things in place, and that is why we need federal government to give us the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it not getting too late now for the funds, like you said, alerts to be received? What are that plans the state government making to ensure that this doesn't thwart efforts?
No, I can authoritatively say that with what we have seen from the federal minister, the Minister of Youth and Sport, and even the SGF, as at yesterday, we are no longer afraid that alert will not come. Alert will come. We are very sure now that alert will come. So it doesn't really mean that we are not spending. We are putting everything in place, but we just know that for us to conclude and for us to pay our debts at the end of the day, that money has to come. So we are ready. We have always been ready, and we are encouraging other states not to see this alerting as an excuse when they do host and win. They should be prepared and come and compete, because we are ready. Our athletes are set. And also, we have also sent messages to all. The visa to be admitted in our games village, you must take your vaccine and you must be tested, PCR testing 72 hours before the game. So we are not going to compromise on that, because just as part of the agreement we had with PTF and the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport, and we as a state, we've been able to flatten the curve. We will not want to use this game to spark another incident. So we are working tirelessly, and I can assure Nigerians that working with the minister and SGF, the issue of alert will be settled.
Okay, let's go back to media coverage. You mentioned the partnership with media like the NTA. Are we going to be covering it live?
Of course, NTA. We already had some discussion. Definitely, you will be covering it live.
Okay. All right. So, talking about athletes, how many of them and officials are we expecting in the state?
We've reduced it from over 14,000 that we're expecting to about 8,000 now, athletes minus officials. So, give and take, we're looking at close to like 9,000 to 10,000 people participating. But we have a facility that actually was prepared for about 18,000 persons. So it also gives us the opportunity to still space our people even in accommodation, so that at the end of the day, we'll have a game that is COVID-free, and both the hosts and the athletes that will come here will go back very healthy, having participated in a competition that Edo State hosted and win.
Thank you very much, Deputy Governor of Edo State and Chairman, Local Organizing Committee, Edo 2020. Thank you so much for finding time to join.
Thank you very much. And NTA will expect you to do what you used to do. You have your station across all the senatorial districts in Nigeria, the largest station. So in the pandemic, your network is very, very essential to pass the message and get this game to our people in their various homes.
Thank you so much for the compliment. All right, that has been the Deputy Governor of Edo State and Local Organizing Committee Chairman for Edo 2020. All right, it's back to you in the studio, Musbao.
Thank you very much, Ogo Chukwuka. Honor with the Deputy Governor of the state, Philip Shoibu. We appreciate that. And now let's take more sports. As Paul Onuachu on target again, as Super Eagles and AFCON qualifiers 2021 unbeaten. And Nigeria's Grace Nwokocha is world's fastest woman in 100 meters. Let's join our sport desk for details of this.
An opportunity for him and a chance to as Paul Onuachu! Whatever he touches, it turns to gold.
Paul Onuachu was on target for the second consecutive game as the Super Eagles finished their 2021 African Cup of Nations qualifying campaign with a 3-0 home win against Lesotho on Tuesday. General Ross charges started the game brightly, moving the ball around with confidence. Osimhen finally broke the deadlock in the 22nd minute after latching on to a fine pass from Wilfred Ndidi.